and it's burst into flames.
This is your first match for Barnsley?
Yep. And she's clocked me looking at these two. She turned around, she went, on your back, you man. And I thought them two were copping it. Don't matter what they've got, she's stripping lot out, tyres off and lot, bust into tears and laughter. And we've just embraced each other and we're rolling about and we fell on the floor and he's laughing, punching me in the chest and going, "You'll do for me."
The Fishing Gurus podcast.
You heard what happened on the Bob Nudd thing?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Did I not tell you this when we were travelling to Drains or anything?
No, I don't think so.
You cannot start another podcast with this.
Why not?
Well, because you've done like 7 or 8 now, including a live show of 100 people.
So, obviously, got Nuddy on.
Yep.
Big job. Went to his house, soup from Bernie, sandwiches from Bernie.
Yeah.
Research day, like me and you
Bernie
had.
did everything, obviously.
Of course you did. Did you see his post of the day?
I did.
Unbelievable. But, got Bob down to office. Week or two later, done a podcast, 3.5 hours, 4 hours nearly. 4 hours.
It was
nearly.
a biggie, yeah.
Bob Nudd,
probably.
beautiful, went
Yeah, yeah.
great, couldn't have gone better.
Yeah, legend.
Like, yeah, angling hero of mine, you know. And driving back up M11, phone call off Toby. It's the usual. Great podcast, loved that. Bob were great, got a good show there. What do you think? What do you think we're going to use for trailers? That's what I thought were coming, like normally happens after a show with me and him. And it was a very blunt "hiya mate," which doesn't normally happen. Then it was, "We've got a problem." What's the problem, Tobe? "We've not got a show." What do you mean we've not got a show? We've not got any sound.
Oh.
What do you mean we've not got any sound? There's no sound on Bob's podcast. I've got you, I've got Bob, and there's no sound. And we'd recorded a whole podcast with Bob Nudd without the mics working.
It was horrific. What Matt doesn't realise
Did you get
is...
that sick feeling?
No, well, this is what I was about to say. Matt doesn't realise, but I'd obviously found out the news probably 3 hours prior to calling
you had
him.
to dwell on that.
So I was in like the acceptance stage. I was like, no, it's
Yeah.
gone. It's 100% gone.
Then you had to go through it all again when you delivered it to him.
Well, then it did come back, the sickness of like I've got to phone him and tell him and all of
worst
that.
thing
It was horrible, mate. I sat in this room for hours, just
double
going through
checking.
it. Yeah, double checking, triple checking.
Isn't it weird? You get, on a phone call or if someone walks
Yeah,
in a room,
yeah,
if
yeah,
there's
yeah.
something wrong, you must get it. You get like a sick sense of like,
Oh, no.
not right this. Is something not right?
No, which is why you've got to walk in and deliver it straight away. If you're going to eat shit, Toby, don't nibble.
Yeah, that's a proper...
Great analogy,
It is
isn't
great
it?
analogy. It's perfect. Yeah, I should just phoned you up. Gone, Matt, it's gone. Sorry.
That's it.
You ever had a disaster film? You've done loads of filming now. And
Yeah,
you
my
got
favourite
mixed-
one is where I did a great film at Hollowell where we caught bream after bream after bream, and it was going to go on this DVD for Preston, and half the footage went to shit, and I didn't make the DVD. And I never did any filming for Preston because that wasn't my role. And they got me on, and we had a great day, and lost all footage.
Oh, no.
Because we did a live, I caught something like 5, 7, 9 bream or something in as long as it took me to get my rod on rest. Live.
On Facebook
on
Live?
Facebook Live, yeah.
Wow.
It blew everybody away, and then the video never happened.
Right. So you have had
That was
filming
disappointing.
disaster.
Yeah.
Wow. Welcome to the Fishing Gurus podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on.
No, thank you for inviting me.
Well, we've talked about it for a while, haven't we? And we've just like, are we going to do it? Are you in a good position to do it? Shall we do it? Shall we not do it?
We're busy, aren't we?
I got to come up mixing bowl last year, which
You
was
did,
great.
yeah. Love it. I made you a fire as well, but obviously you've not got the heater on there. But
We haven't.
times are hard, friends are few.
We need, right, you're quite a physical, emotive person. Not too much table banging. Not too much mic moving.
Yeah,
We've had a warning off Tobe, haven't we?
Yeah, don't fuss with things. But if I'm rocking, Tob, it's because I spent the journey here with... Well, I actually thought the van were going to break down.
Yeah, you need
because-
to tell me about this.
Well,
yeah.
he said we were going in van. I thought I'd come on a boat. So it was like going on a ferry. Because we're on motorway. We've got to about Blythe down on the A1. And I thought, I've got to say something because he's driving me crack. I said, everything all right with van? He's gone, yeah, why? And I said, well, is it like what is it called? The autopilot thing, the speed control. Is it faulty? And he's gone, no, why? I said, because I feel seasick. Because Van is doing this, and it stopped. And then it's not like a single motion. It's like being on sea. Stop, start, stop, and then it's back. And I'm like, oh my. And he's gone, sorry, it's me. What do you mean it's me? Oh, I've got fiddler's knee.
What is that?
I tell you what, he'd be good at playing spoons on his knee. When he plays spoons, he'd be good at that. Ridiculous. So I've just about got me land legs again, and so I'm hopefully.
So Matt, what are you doing? Are you like dancing on the accelerator?
I've had it before. Well, Lee who brought it up when we have a little spell of travelling together when we go on drains. Same journey that we've.
Well, they're bumpy roads, aren't they?
Well, it's not the roads, is it? It's me. But if I don't put my van on that cruise control or whatever it is, I'm constantly up and down on accelerator, which rocks you back.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know I'm doing it.
It's not for the faint-hearted. Let me put it like that.
Have you got any twitchers? Have you got any? Do you do any of that? You're quite a hypery person.
When I'm agitated, I actually get fiddler's knee. It's like a bounce. You can put a baby on there, bounce it all day, and be happy as Larry. But that's only when I'm kind of let's go, and I'm having to be patient or wait for somebody. And like if you're in a waiting room, you're waiting to pick your car up, or you stack some lights and they're not working, and leg starts going. And so if you ever see me doing that with my leg, I'm agitated, and best thing to do is either get out of the way or make things happen and speed things up.
Tobes, if you see the knee twitching, let me know.
It won't happen amongst beautiful
worry.
people like you. I can assure you.
I have been very much looking forward to this one. I feel like I know you quite well.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky to call you a close friend. But there's also
Likewise.
a lot about you that I don't know, and I'm very looking forward to having a conversation about.
You're not old enough to know everything now because you've
No.
not been around long. You've not been on planet long enough.
We've just been through scrapbooks getting ready for it, and there's some absolute belting pictures and stories ahead of us.
Yeah.
But I want to throw it right back to the start, which I don't know anything about. I know your mum, I know your dad, I know your brother and everything. But where did fishing come from for Mick Vials? What's the earliest memory? How was that ground into you?
Well, you've just nailed it because it's a family thing. And my earliest memories of going fishing is, I think it was a 16 foot or 20 foot, 40 foot, one of those drains near Boston. And everybody, all the family was in the peg because my dad's fishing. And of course, he's got a young family. I've got a sister that's 2 years older than me, Karen, who never gets mentioned because they think there's only me and my brother because we're a male orientated family, we're old fashioned.
Didn't know you got a sister.
Yeah, there you go. Sister Karen, I to her. And she's there, mum's there, and I'm big. And I think it were a Woolworths rod. And it'd be a kit that came on a blister with a plastic reel which had string, and I can see it now, and it had red and yellow plastic rings, one ring which was a connector to fasten these two metal sections. So it's probably that long, this rod, with a plastic reel on and a plastic float. And I don't worry because it don't matter because it's my greatest earliest memory of fishing, but I caught a fish because I think my dad had tied an hook length onto the bottom of the string, and probably while I'd gone for a pee in rushes, he's hooked me a little roach on, maybe. But I might have caught it in weed. You never know, do you? Because I probably put my rod on, got bored, and started playing in grass and catching grasshoppers and all that. And I can see that roach, and it's about that big, and that's it then. That's it. I'm in.
I mean, there's some pictures on screen now.
Yeah. So top picture, that's my dad. We don't look alike at all. And obviously I'm on the left cradling. Well, that's obviously set me up on it because that's all I ever want to catch is bream. And that's my sister holding that bream with my dad. I've obviously gone, I can hold it on my own dad. And at the bottom is my mum with a net full of bream that I know for a fact she caught because that's her smaller basket and a black umbrella. And so we'd set two rods up. And I think back then, we didn't have internet, we didn't have Netflix, and you went out, that was your entertainment. You didn't go to theme parks, they didn't exist. This is I was born in 72, so that's, I don't know, was it 75, 76?
Incredible.
Like
what a couple of pictures that is, and that epitomises your start of fishing, doesn't it?
That's everything, because them two people there have put me here, haven't they?
Did Mum get super into it? She used to fish herself, she had her own basket and everything then?
I when they say you can either get busy joining in or you can get left behind, I think she's like, well, if you can't beat them, join them. And but Mum had tie hooks and she'd riddle casters, and I never forget in house that I weren't born in that house, but up to about 8, in kitchen there'd be I'm going to call it a mullinex, and it were a grinder. And the bread would be drying on the hearth, all the waste bread from next door neighbours probably, and Mum would grind it all once it had dried and make ground bait, because that were the best crumb. That were it. And that, so I suppose it's inevitable, isn't it, that I'm going to go fishing, because I can't even leave the house without saying it, because Dad was keen as mustard, and good at it as well.
Ernie.
Yeah.
A lot of people listening to this will know Ernie, won't they?
Absolutely. He's the most famous Vials fisherman that's ever walked the planet, because they go, oh, you're Ernie's lad. They do it internationally. The first thing, they don't say, hi Mick, how you doing? They go, where's your dad? Because he's a character, isn't he? And what a man.
Fantastic humour. Yeah. I hadn't seen him for a while. Is he all right?
It's great. 77, back in December, full of beans, full of life, and yeah, what a great influence.
Need to see him soon. When did match fishing become a thing? When did that competitive streak get to be a thing?
Well, I think there were junior matches were a common thing, and I'll come back to why I think they were, but basically there's a place called Ravenfield Ponds, which I happen to live near by now, and I fish occasionally.
That's where you sent me and Frankie, innit, in summer?
That's right.
That's Ravenfield, innit?
That's it. Yep.
Beautiful,
yep.
beautiful
and that
place.
belonged to the Steel Works. My dad worked in British Steel, because where I'm from in Rotherham, that's a major employer. And I think my dad said there were 5,000 people in the Sports and Social Club, of which 2,500 people paid out of their wages every week. They paid a couple of quid, or 80 pence, 50 pence, whatever it were. And it were on their wedge slip into the Phoenix Sports and Social. And they commandeered this water called Ravenfield Ponds, and Martin Reed led, and Martin Reed's a big, sort of influence.
Used to write in Greenham, didn't he?
That's right. Rotherham Advertiser, journalist, got involved with DEFRA and all sorts of different things. But he saw that we needed something local, and this big club needed its own water. And they went about regenerating this place, and sure enough, each year, the 2,500 angling members would have a junior match, because they took the sons, and that's what I did. And Martin actually captured a picture of me fishing my first ever match.
I think we've got it, Toe.
And that was my first match, and I suppose hooked, because my dad went match fishing and I wanted to go match fishing, and I don't know why I wanted to go match fishing, but it just seemed like the natural thing to do. There you go.
There it is.
And that is the story of my life.
Look at that. What a picture. You've got the rod in your hand.
So it's
good, isn't it?
yeah, that's my granddad, not right.
Wow.
Greatest man that ever lived.
I met your granddad at your wedding, didn't I?
Yeah, amazing guy. We've got some great pictures of him fishing, and he loved it. Look how keen he is, leaning forward. And he's watching Darren, that's my brother with the hat and scarf on.
Good old Daz.
Now my business partner and best friend. And then there's my dad saying, "You've got a tandle." Flick that bail on of it, and you can see the rod that's on the floor. That's I know for a fact that's Ernest Stanford swing tip rod that would have had a Freddie Foster genuine swing tip on it, because my dad was friends with the Foster family. And I know this is all sad, but I've still got that Mitchell match that's on that reel I'm holding.
Have you?
Yeah, I've still got them all. And that's a Bruce and Walker 12'7", I think it was, float rod that were my dad's. And I caught 6 ounce, and I think I were about a third or something. And
6 ounce?
Yeah, just a few rud off top. Because, of course, I were in Tandle most of the time, so good job rud was shallow, because my rig were about that long. And the bug for match fishing's born, really. But that, I've got that up in my office at work in a big frame, because Dad, Granddad, massive influences on me, and they both fished, as did my mum's dad. He fished as well, so I would never get away from it, would I?
It's
really.
What that little moment there, though, where you went just that's what I love about podcasts. We can talk about this off camera and outside this room or whatever, but when we're having this conversation and that goes up there, there's something happens in here, and for someone like you to that's magic for me. I hope that people listening and watching appreciate that little bit of emotion there.
Well, they're the moments of your life, aren't they? And it wasn't until I was about 30 that somebody once said to me, it's a life-defining moment, that. And I can't remember what that situation was. And I look back and I look at all the life-defining moments, and that's one of them. Because that's it, innit? You're not going back from there.
Yeah.
So match fishing, and then you just want to go fishing all the time, and you fish the Rotherham and District Junior Annual Match on Tidal Trent, caught some eels legging on with a stick float, and my wicker basket filled up with water, and all that carry on. And then you jump on coaches and be a spare rider, sit up front because they were all swearing at back, all rolling about, messing around and stuff. And you become ingrained in part of that. And so I've obviously got some great memories of travelling to matches with my dad, like the Witham, where I'm like kind of following around under his belt because I'm frightened of all these 700 blokes to draw at Kirkstead headquarters.
How old are you at that point, Nick?
From then on, so I'm like 8, 9, 10, and I'm on it. I'm there, and we'd travel with Russell Foster. Now Russell Foster is a very successful angler. Anybody over the age of 50 will know exactly who he is. Won the National, won Welland Champs, and so we've walked into car park. There's me, my dad, Russell, and Ivan Marks comes over, and I'm like, this is that plot from Angling Times, and hi Russ, hi Ernie, how's things? Yeah, great. Dad said, Ivan, this is my lad, Michael, because that's what he calls me, because that's my name. And hey up son, because that's hey up son. I'm like, hiya, and he's gone, if your dad draws near me, just pop down and say hello. And on several occasions I did. And
wow,
the influences of that, it just sets you off, doesn't it? And it's inevitable. I'm from Rotherham, I'm from South Yorkshire. I'm going to put this out there, and they can argue as much as they want. It's the epicentre of match fishing. You could think of the names that have come out of that little hotbed.
Undoubtedly, it is. Yeah.
So,
we even say it amongst ourselves at work now, but it is. And it's that what shaped it, though, what you just talked about then.
Yeah, because then you're in, aren't you? And regardless of whether it's willfully or not, you're on the journey because you're getting dragged along with the tide, aren't you, of people around you.
How do you feel about that? Because I weren't there for that, and I'm jealous of it. I want to. I've not experienced that. I've not been on a coach. I've not been in a draw on with them. I've not. Like, how do you feel about that? Not being a part of match fishing nowadays. That what it was then. The coaches, the beer drinking, the 5,000 members of the club all paying eight. Like, that's a. Is it a time thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it a?
Yeah, of course. In a nostalgic way, you look back and you say, wouldn't it be great if we still did that? But life's changed, hasn't it? Because there's not 10,000 people working at Steelworks, and people don't work nights, and they don't work down pit, and they don't work in the Steelworks and get dirty and then need to go fishing because they're blokes and they've been grafting all week. And I believe that so many people were in the club, most of them weren't really serious fishermen, and of the 800 people on the Stonesers Open in June on the Witham, where there's 6 drawbags because there's that many people, they have to have 6 separate drawbags.
Just to split the queue up?
To make it happen in some kind of time before tea time.
Wow.
Imagine trying to queue 800 blocks up for a draw.
No.
And you got your ticket from the pub. You got your ticket for the match from behind bar, but it had to be a Stones's pub, as did the Wards Brewery match, you'd have to send up for a ticket.
Tetley's.
All of those matches. And they give you a beer towel and 4 cans. And when you went to Embassy Pairs, which was a bit later, or any Embassy sponsored match, they give you 20 fags, 40 fags. Here you go, young'un. You can have them. Because that's what it were all about. And my point is that out of the 800 anglers on the Witham on the Stonesers, I'm saying 400 of them were just there for 4 cans and a sitting sun because they'd been on nights all week at Steelworks, rolling steel and sweating and coughing, spluttering, and house was small and cramped because, it's a working class background and they just want to get out in some fresh air.
Will we ever see that kind of level of association between match fishing and external brands to the industry ever again, do you think? Me and Tobes have this chat.
I don't want to be a pessimist, but no.
Why?
Because it's not a very good spectator sport. It was a participator sport, so it was worth sponsoring it purely for the volume. So they drove you into a pub where you had 5 pints while you collected your ticket, 800 of you. They sold, it were branding for their, but it was something that those people did every single day. If you look at the amount of participators we've got today, and let's say it's, I don't know, Apple, well, they've all got a phone, haven't they? Let's sponsor them all, but there's only, what is there? 800,000 people go fishing, but match fishing, what is there? 50,000? I don't know. I'm plucking figures out of it.
I always said 20,000 is the match angler.
Exactly, and I'm trying to be kind. What good's that? In data-wise, I mean, you know, you can do any little website these days and get 20,000 people's data. What would be the gain? What would be the gain?
With that in mind then, Mick, and I apologise to anyone listening because it's something we talk about a lot, isn't it, Matt?
I know you're passionate about it, Tobe, aren't you?
Well, because coming from outside of fishing, it just seems totally alien to me that it doesn't have that relationship with external sponsors or the wider world. Mick, in your opinion, how do we as a sport get there?
I think it's a cultural thing. I think fishing is in the UK is derived from men getting out of the house. That's what fishing is, and I know that because I've just done Christmas and I could have killed somebody. And then I went and had a walk round an embryo water, Theale, talked to a few guys fishing. On the way back, I was talking to Oliver Scott on. He said, "Yeah, I'm bored as well." We met up for a pint. We talked rubbish about fishing in a pub that's between our two villages, and I felt great. And I think that's what fishing is. And so culture's changed, hasn't it? And I've travelled around Europe, and I've also travelled into the Far East. And when I look at the people who go fishing the Far East, it's not the modern, successful, you know, people who live in the digital world. It's the factory workers. It's the people down at the grassroots. It's the working class people who go fishing. And we ain't got the working class in this country anymore because nobody's working. They're all working from home, working online. They're all...
Hang on, we're working today recording a podcast.
Exactly. But we ain't got calluses, and his backs aren't broken. The lads who I grew up with all had black eyelashes because they'd all been down the pit. They couldn't wait to go fishing. Do you need to go fishing now? Because you can get all your entertainment in your living room, and you don't even need to put telly in because you can get it in your hand. And I think the culture of what we do in the UK is what's making fishing a struggle. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. We talk about getting the kids fishing. I think we need to get the adults fishing, because kids can't drive. They've got no money. They need an adult to take them fishing. So how do we get adults fishing is the kicker for me.
What a great take on it, and your upbringing and your story and them pictures. That's what happened. You went fishing because your dad went fishing and your family went fishing.
I was going whether I liked it or not.
You were going fishing, and I was same. And you went fishing for the first time because of your relationship with your parents.
My dad was the same, and I don't fish now, but I was certainly in it for a long time. And just because I didn't take to it, he now takes my little brother, who I think will be in it. So that is it. But
absolutely,
it's very interesting to hear, and very rare actually, to reinforce your point that people come on here and they found fishing off their own accord. It is almost always a family influence.
Absolutely.
Well,
because to people who don't have that introduction to it, it's the most random, and I think people think it's a bit crackers, really. So what do you do? Do you put them back? Do you eat them?
Isn't it just look?
Yeah, and of course that's match fishing. Isn't it just look? But they just go, what's the point? And I go, well, what about a bit of fresh air? And the kingfishers that I've seen 1,000 kingfishers, and some people have never seen one. I mean, there's lots more to fishing than just catching fish. But I don't think you realise that when you're deep into it. But when we sit here and talk about it, and I have to look at it like I do in my modern, up-to-date head, because I'm trying to work out what I could do to help fishing now that I'm, at the back end of the summer of my life. I'm halfway there now. I'm 29.
Hard paper round. Very hard.
I had 3 fields my paper round. Huddersfield, Sheffield and Mansfield.
We're going to get a few of them today,
Yeah,
aren't we?
yeah,
We are, aren't we?
we are.
If you're going to eat shit, don't nibble. That's
Yeah.
come
That
out
was a great
already.
one. That was a good one.
True.
I like
True.
the
A great man
favourite.
said that. Yeah.
Right, this is we're going to end up talking about all sorts of weird
course,
stuff
yeah.
today, aren't we?
Yeah.
And what a great person to have talking about it. Before we move on, and I'm dwelling on stuff we haven't planned because you're saying some really interesting things here. You talked about the men needed to get out of the house. They needed the fresh air.
Yeah.
Back then, fishing then was a mental health thing.
I believe so.
Massively.
Even though it wasn't, mental health wasn't a thing then, what we've got to remember is that working class people don't live in mansions, do they? They ain't got a conservatory and block paving and touring caravans. They live in back-to-back terraces. You know, they are the salt of the earth. It's where we're from. And when I look around at all the people, they all started off in a mining village or, you know, there's exceptions to that. I appreciate that. But
Of course there is, but
I think if you said, let's get an average, most of the lads that go fishing, that we know in our style of fishing, they're not salmon anglers, are they? They're not wearing tweed and getting a gilly. They're on a coach. They're on a train. There's a fantastic video somewhere on the internet where all the guys, and it's the Sheffield, they all go fishing and they all get on the milk train from Sheffield Midland Station over to the Witham. And then it's brilliant. It's ahead of its time, this video. Probably filmed in the 70s, 80s. And they then interview one of the anglers, and he's there at the steelworks on a lathe, milling, and then he's at home tying his hooks. And he actually, without saying it, says, well, you know, you need to get out, don't you? You need to see lads. And we work together. We have a sports and social club, the things that are a thing of the past. You know, Miners Institute. Every pub, every club, every workplace had a fishing club. All that is about mental health, isn't it? That's because
massively.
Men talking to other men about men things.
But that's what I wanted to get across, that this was a
Not
thing
holding
then.
hands in a garden centre.
Now, this was a thing then. The mental health of
Yes,
fishing was more than it is now, even potentially.
But like all things now versus then, no one had a label then. You didn't have a label for ADHD. You were just a naughty little so-and-so. You got a crack right ear all. But we can't go into that, can we? Because that's not my department. But, you know, you kind of go, I need to go fishing, love. And back then, times were hard and people worked hard and played hard. You know, they grafted all week. They went to a pub, fell asleep on sofa, got up, went fishing, went to a pub, probably didn't come in sometimes, went fishing, went back to work Monday morning. Left, breadwinners they called them, didn't they? Left wages on the table, took enough for a match. Yeah, that caused some rows.
What's the journey between you starting to go match fishing and joining Barnsley Blacks? Because you were very young when you joined Barnsley, and something drastic must have happened in you and in your path between starting to go fishing on a bus coach with your dad to fishing for one of the best teams in the country at a young age.
Yeah, funny journey, because obviously when I look back, it were obviously all very quick. So you're into it. You know, you do your English essay at school about wagglers and stick floats, and I'm best to listen to you talking, and then I'm getting to like 13, 14. I'm travelling. My dad's, if he's working, because he's working to feed 3 kids, because Darren's in the bar now. You know, he's taking his share out at biscuits in. I've always beat him to the pantry, and basically, my dad's gone, right, you'll have to go with them. He'll take you. You can jump it back in his car. And people like Martin Hartley, Dave Nuttall, Steve Corbett, and more importantly, Roy Truman. I'll take him, Ernie. And Roy had shares in the local tackle shop, Parkgate Angling Centre, where he used to work after school. I'd sit there bagging ground bait upstairs in my school uniform, stay on bus and get off at the shop, not go home. And so you start mixing with people, and because my dad everybody loves my dad. So he's like, they've gone, I'll take him, Ernie, because if he's out like that, he'll be all right. And my dad would go, babe, listen, here's some sandwiches. Don't say a word. Don't answer back. Do as you're told. I just ignored all that. And what about this? What about what are you doing about? And you start being you, don't you? And you want to know how to fish and what to do. And Roy Truman, massively instrumental. He's like, I'll take him. And he's like, you'll be a good one. Yeah, do this, do that. It was always hard with him because he was left-handed and I could never. He'd say, have a chuck, and I couldn't. My hands were the wrong way around, yeah. And then next thing I know, he's gone, come to come to Raiders. I'm going to take your dad to Raiders. And I was involved with Catch-22, which were my dad's team.
What's Rotherham Raiders?
Sorry, the Rotherham Raiders. So Catch-22 was like the sort of second team in Rotherham, and the Rotherham Raiders was the premier. They won the National in 81, I believe. I might have got my dates wrong, 80 or 81, the year before Barnsley. They were sponsored by Shakespeare. They all got a seat box because the new seat box was just out, the blue one. And they were sponsored by Laurel Tackle, which were from round here somewhere, down south. And they were the kiddies, and they all had purple luggage, and Jeff Newby, Jack Pugh, Mick Pevley, some really big names fished in there. And at 14, Roy took me to my first Rotherham Raiders meeting at the Hilltop Hotel, where one of the members were a landlord. And that were a weekly meeting. 8 pints, I think, was the crack, unless you were driving, then you only had 5. and everybody, there were 3 of them smoking cigars, they were smoking fags, and the rest of us were bite window trying to breathe. And John Kelly were in there as a young skinny fella. Martin Day, some great, Jock Jameson, Martin Hartley, John Swales, another massive influence on me. So then I'm Rotherham Raidering, and we're off, and we're fishing Winter League. And
how old at this point, mate?
So I'm 14, 15, and that were 3 years or so, and we used to fish all sorts like DFDS knockout against Goole, and you'd have to go to Broomfleet Canal, or Market Waiting as they call it, and Steve Canty and Party, John Palmer, and some real great guys. Pete Kitwood, who I still see today, we're against them, and they've got this skill where they're chucking up against far bank, and they can put a waggler against far bank, and I mean their side of these reeds, because they've got the shotting pattern right, and you can't beat them.
Where's this, like Selby Canal and places like that?
Broomfleet Canal. Market Wayne Canal, and that was 6 against 6, and that were real grounding, real interesting stuff. Because of course I'm too young to fish, so I'm running bank, and we're having a meeting, and John Kelly's like, "We'll beat them. How are we going to beat them?" Well, you got to choose whether you sat on. If you were the away team, so you had home and away ground. If you were the away team, you got to choose which pegs, odds or evens. And John, we've got this meeting. It's Monday, and John Kelly's gone, "I've got it," because you can't beat goalies, goal avengers. Racing Torture, Goal Avengers. You can't beat them. I've got it. And Jack Pugh's gone, all right, what we're going to do? He's gone, we're going to choose odds. And he's like, are they at best pegs? He went, no, we can go night before and chuck a bar of soap in all even pegs. And he got us all like that. And, John Kelly's crackers, but what a great bloke. And so we went, and they battered us, and, you come with great second in a 2-team comp. And of course, you're aware of Barnsley there in the, but you've got great teams. Smithies, I don't think Goldthorpe were kicking around then. Oh, they might have been. And Barnsley and Dons and Bawtry, amazing teams, all within a bike ride. So it's inevitable that you're around these people, and we fish and we do things, and then that were great. And you start to make the team, and you fish a national, and you grow yourself, don't you? You start to win a few matches, and but back then it were big, and it were hard to break through as a young'un. It were hard. It weren't the same as it is now. You had to do your time, serve your apprenticeship. Am
I right in thinking you fished for the England youth setup? I've seen pictures of you with Wayne Bart, Dean Barlow.
That was then the next step. So basically, there were people in the Rotherham Raiders who knew people, and Roy Jeffries was the manager, and they're saying to me, you should go for that, because you know. But I weren't a pole angler. We weren't at that stage. I wasn't at that stage, as in the people around me weren't advanced. But I'd got a pole, and I was trying my best to do it. And I think I'd started work, and I saved up my first 6 months worth of wages. I think my mum was subsidising everything else, because that's what she did. She was paying me pulls and everything, as long as I won, which made me fish really hard, because then I could go 2 days. And massively supportive. Cook your hemp for you, get you up, make your breakfast, get your pulls money.
Great lady. Never
forgot it. And off you go. And so they've encouraged me, and I can't remember what happened, but basically the next thing I know, I'm on an England trial at Westfield Lakes. I've drawn the side of Dave Brooks, who I didn't know then, but now I know. Dave Brooks from Barnsley, yeah. He's in corner, and we're on Westfield Lakes, and I didn't realise at the time, but we weren't in the runnings because we were on as far away from the car park as possible, and in the car park was Dean Barlow, and all the lads who'd fished before. And the England team weren't particularly that advanced then. It weren't that developed, because it used to be under 18s and then the seniors. So if as long as you went 19 the year that the world champs were fished, and I caught an eel and a roach, and I was like, wow, because of course you've seen all these internationals who've all got ASI boxes, and as a young, you're like, I want to be one of them. How do I get to be that? So I knuckled down for the next 12 months. Fortunately, got an invite back because I caught a fish. I think they could see that you were strong enough to hold a pole, because there's a lot to junior fishing. It's not just if you're a brilliant angler, you've got to be able to strong enough to carry your box, haven't you, and feed and throw a ball of ground bait and all that. And then he ran 2 trials the year after, and that's because he'd got a lot of entrants, probably 50, and he put us on the roadside at the Stainforth, and the people who picked from that then went on to fish another trial at Home Pierpoint. So he did 2 in a year, and I progressed to that, by which time I was driving. I know what a pint was, and I would change it. And so I went down, I drove down to Pierpoint, had a practice, got this stuff called Bloodworm and Joker, didn't really know what I was doing. And I had a practice, caught loads of fish, because you would do, wouldn't you, practicing. And then the trial come along, and you were throwing balls ground bait, and I were catching fish, but I were hooking fish, losing them. I were miles off, rubbish. I was like, this is great, and I want this, and everybody or anybody were there. I think a Will Raisin about that big was somewhere down the thing, because we're talking about 1989.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah, Will Freeman were there. I didn't know him, but he were there. Now, very close friend. And the trials came, and I caught some fish, did well, but I just didn't quite have it right. And massive turning point. So as the shout at time, my dad's gone, here, this bloke wants to talk to you. And he's took me up the bank, and there were a lad from Grestries in, can never remember his name, red-headed, ginger-haired lad, better than yours. And he'd been brought to the trials by a guy called Alan Mayer. Now, for anybody who has been around for a long time, they'll know exactly who Alan Mayer is. He were class. He knocked about with Alan McAtee. He was one of the Northwest Mafia, Castor angler, Trent angler. If you look back through the records, you'll see class.
Alan Mayer.
And he changed my life. He didn't know that, I didn't know that, and my dad didn't know that. And he's gone, come here, pass me a pole top.
You didn't know him?
No, didn't know him. But he said to my dad, I now know now, he's strong enough to hold a pole. I would never a 7-stone weakling. He can throw a ball of ground bait. If I just help him, I think I can advance him. Because I was like halfway there. I caught a lot of fish, did well, but I didn't win. And he was like, you could have won today. So he's got me pole, pulled out elastic out of it, showed me, and he basically took all that elastic out. I'd got it through top 2 or whatever, top 3. They were telescopic and all sorts. And he's put it in a short piece of pole. Here, get these bungs, this is what you do, because you've got too much elastic in. And here's a packet of hooks, Gamma Katsu 6315s. Never forget it, in a wallet. And he went, here's some of them, 16s. Tie them up, because there's another trial. It was like phase 2 in a week's time. Get your sense sorted, do what you've done, put that hook on, change your elastic. I don't know if I won the next trial or I was second, but I'm in middle. I've looked round. I'm not at Westfield. I'm not down at bottom. I'm here. I'm at middle. And I look back now and I go, I were obviously being shepherded towards. And next thing, I've got a letter. Put this blue jumper on. You're fishing for England.
Wow.
What waist are you? Thin. And that's my England jumper. Still got that, I think, somewhere. But I've ditched the shirt. I look like Brother Beyond.
Who have we got on that picture, Mick?
So starting from the left is Mark Evans, one of the most natural anglers you'll ever see.
Top left.
Yeah. Barnsley lad. His brother fished for Barnsley Blacks, Dave. To his left is Wayne Bartholomew with a very chubby, warm, it's a great quiff.
Good old Bart. Look
the
at
legend, that is Sir Richard Clegg. More about him in a bit. Dean Barlow, before he grew into his ears. John Price from Birmingham. Mario Lanza in middle. That's for the old ladies. And then that is Kevin Hodgkinson, who sadly is no longer with us. He was murdered while he was fishing.
Never.
About 5 years ago, I think, at Herries Park Pond in Sheffield. Kev.
5 years ago from now?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah,
I didn't hear about
that. Kev disappeared from fishing. Kev were a character. He was a Sheffield lad, cool. You know, he had all gear. And I think he got involved with wrong crowd and he liked a substance or two. But he was great, just great. Everybody there will tell you that that's the best angler they've ever fished with. Class. He would have gone to be whatever, the next Alan Scott on. Anyway, packed in fishing, and then he found fishing again. I bumped into him somewhere. Are you walking at a garage, I think? And I'm thinking about going fishing. I've got kids and I've tidied my life up and all that. And then apparently, and you'll be able to Google it, he went fishing to Herries Road Pond, which is right near Sheffield Wednesday ground, and it's all fenced off with a lock gate and all that. And I don't know if the gate was left open, but somebody got in who was also under the influence of something, and stabbed him.
Oh my God! I never knew or heard about that. I didn't know that were a story. Wow.
So
that's very, very.
We're lucky to be sat here, aren't we?
Yeah,
you know
massively.
Because he's not here, and he was great, and that were a great team. Yeah, they're a great bunch of lads. We had a riot because it were at Home Pierpoint, 1990. We stayed. Our accommodation was the headquarters.
Okay.
So you can imagine that lot, can't you? Us lot diving in between beds and assing around, and everybody in my car driving around Pierpoint when it's dark with lights on and sending all errands up. And our coach was Ivan Marks. So from that meeting in the car park with him, is now Muscles, he called me, because I was a strapping young man then. And I could hold a pole with one hand. I could strike with my knees and all that. Because you were young and fit, aren't you? Fight a bull, wouldn't you, at that age?
You still would now.
yeah. Probably lose now, though. And Ivan coached us, and we were all Bream attack. And it was amazing at the time, because the European Super Cup, which is well documented, I think Alan Scott talk about that on his podcast, that was straight after our World Championships. And so people were down there practicing. Bob Nudd was there. And we're all sat, and Bob and Dean, because Dean's dad, were real close friends. And Bob were loose feeding bronze maggots with these like wire tip floats and DeFils or whatever they were, papyrus. They had all that crap going off back in the day. And we're all mesmerised by him. And Ivan wasn't with us that day. And the next day we've got Ivan, Bob's loose feeding and just dropping all that. He's gone, if I catch you loose feeding maggots or fishing a float less than half a gram, I'll snap your pole in half. He were right, because he knew that we had to catch bream to win. Or he probably knew that we needed to fish for bream because we couldn't fish for roach because we're young lads who hadn't got that skill.
Team of Liggers.
We weren't Belgian, we weren't French. And off we went, and that's what we fished. Great times, absolutely.
How did you get on in the World Champs? How was it?
It were amazing. I wish I could do it all again, because we could have done with putting light rigs on and catching a few roach, because it went flat. We were second.
Silver medal?
Silver medal, yeah. Very cherished, still great framed, as you do. And and I suppose that was also instrumental, life-defining, because that's where I met Dick Clegg, as you saw him on the picture there. And because international events manager, obviously he's also the England team manager. I nearly said float, but there was only one England team. I still wonder if that should be the case, but I can't complain, can I? And so Dick was there, and he oversaw everything. And some of them lads were from the same county as him. Most of us, actually. I think there's only one that's not a South Yorkshireman, really, when you look at it. But that's my point about South Yorkshire.
Yeah.
And so I met Dick, and off I went. I've fished for England, and I'm back at Rotherham Raiders, all bristling, and life's great. But we're fishing against Barnsley and fishing against Dick, so I just see him. And I think the next thing that happened was I picked up the Angling Times, and it said Barnsley signs apprentices. And the apprentices were Simon Roth, I think he was the oldest apprentice on planet, because he's a bit older than us. Dave Evans, Mark Evans' brother, and Andy Kinder, who we all know, amazing fisherman. And I'm like, yeah, and the press wrote it as though Barnsley got this like apprenticeship scheme. So I'm like, what do you think to that, Dad? And he's gone, that looks great, doesn't it? He said, be all right for you, that. I'm like, and I want to do that. I want to do that. Because I've met all the Barnsley lads, and all the Rotherham lads hated them, because couldn't beat them. They used to call them from pigs to dogs. Happy Al, they used to call Alan.
Oh, Big Al. Did you know Al at the time?
I hated him.
Right.
Oh, because he beat my dad on big open on with him. Alan had £10.6, my dad had £9.4. I was doing my own work on bank behind my dad, and my dad's had 9 to a skibbers on gozzers, homebred gozzers.
Did Mum breed him?
Probably I think my dad puts the art down, and my mum like just checked him, make sure that when you got some blows you wrapped him off, and he had a box that he put him with a riddle on and some gauze on top, and so that you couldn't get any more blows because you don't want too many blows. And
Love it.
And my dad's caught £9 out of skimmer, second at Rotherham Open, big match with him, and Alan beat him. And Alan used to drive an XR2. He was young, he had like a mullet, like a right prat, and a wax flat cap. But I obviously didn't hate him that much because I went and got a wax flat cap because I realised that they go, that's Alan Scott on. And I'd also seen him on a Swan Vesta final on Pierpoint, fishing a whip on a pole to hand, and he had the bloodworm on his leg, and I'm like, what's he doing? You watch everything, don't you? And you're obsessed by it. And so
I can tell you were obsessed with how you still talk about the detail now. It's amazing.
I can remember everything. And so it's like, right, how am I going to get, this is like a step, in it. So I went to Yellow Pages, because she did then, because I knew Dick Clegg's factory, Britannia Angling Products. And I've rung it, can I speak to Dick Clegg? It's ain't got his number, because we didn't have mobile phones. Excuse me. And Dick, it's Mick Vials, young'un from Pierpoint. Hey up, young'un. Everything all right? Yeah. I don't think he had a receptionist or a PA, so you could get to speak to him. And I said, I've just read Angling Times. I said, and I want to know how I apply for an apprenticeship. And he just burst out laughing, but in a, oh, you rum bugger, like. and he said, well, it's not quite how it reads. And I said, oh, I'm really sorry. That's just what it read. And he went, and he paused, and he went, fair play. He said, I'll tell you what to do, Ewan. Write me a CV, send it in. Address us into Yellow Pages, you'll find it. I said, yeah, I've got it here. And I put the phone down, and I said to my dad, and he went, oh, crack on. And I thought, he's bluffed me there, he's gone. He's like, pushed me back. And I thought, I daft am I? I'm not good to Barnsley Blacks. Yeah, all right, I've done well, and I can catch fish, and I'm keen. But that's Barnsley Blacks, isn't it? It's like a different thing. But I'm not.
What are you at this point? 18?
Yeah, 18 coming on. Yeah, 18 coming on 19. Yeah. And it's obviously quite soon after the World Champs. But I'm like, I've got this. I want to progress because it's the only way, isn't it? Because that's life, surely.
Keep moving forward.
You have to. If you're not moving forward, what are you doing? Because there's no such thing as standing still. Because if you stand still, everybody else moves forward. You've gone backwards. That's me. So I'm like, anyway, I bottled it. Is the truth. I won't lie. Because I thought my CV didn't look. I wrote it out my school book or whatever it was. Back of it.
So you didn't send it in?
No, I didn't. And I went to. It was winter time. It must have been January, I think. Went to Fleet's Dam in Barnsley, Alan Hanson's place, also a Barnsley Black, but he weren't fishing for the team then. And I think I come third at match with these stocky carp that were new, and we had to go because it was like, this is going to be a thing, this carp. But you caught them on conventional tactics, maggots, and I'm third at match. And in car park, I'm putting my gear in my dad's Cortina because I couldn't afford a car at all. And Dick's parked next to me, and he went, "Hey, up, you man. Can you not write?"
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Wow. What a moment.
I just stared at me like that. And I went, And I'm getting told off, aren't I? Because that's Dick Clegg. He's like...
God.
He's the father of English match fishing. His England team are amazing. And he says what? And he's got an air of authority as Dick. Something that I'd always wanted, something I've aspired to. Because when Dick talks, you listen.
Now's the same.
Everybody. I saw him recently.
You told me.
And I went back to being like a school kid.
Springvale, you saw him.
And Joe, now then, what you were doing? He's like that. And you're like, I've been told off.
We need him in here, don't we?
Be amazing.
Or we need to go and see him.
We could walk there. It's worth it. Trust me. That bloke. So I've gone on between my tails, between my legs. Dad, Dick Clegg's, and he went, well, let's let this end down anyway, and me. He said, and my dad was brilliant at motivating me, because he'd go, well, look at them, they've progressed, haven't they? What are you doing? Like a reverse psychology. I wrote this CV out, posted it off. Gets a letter back. Come and see me at my factory. Ring me, I think it will. And I rung him and he's gone, listen, I can't sign you just yet, but I need you to come to the factory. So one Thursday night at 6 o'clock, when everyone's gone home, I've rung this bell, I'm like petrified. Gone upstairs and we went to Dick's office where all his medals, pictures of him, you know, like with Milo Colombo and I'm like, what am I doing here? And he's gone, I like your style, fair play to you. He said, and I quite like what I saw at Pierpoint. He said, you've got something, so. But we can't sign you because we've just got a few internal problems. And I think they were thinning the ground a little bit. Bear with me, I'll come back to you. And I need to wait for the next meeting. And sure enough, a month later, come to this meeting. You can come. We want you to join Barnsley Blacks. I'm like,
incredible.
What have I done? I'm like, what have I done? I've overstepped the mark. Because then I'm thinking, you start self-doubt and all that kind of...
It's pressure on, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's pressure on.
The next thing I know, me at Keith Hobson's house, we're going to Winter League semi-final, Bridgewater Canal, Manchester. Meet there at 6 o'clock.
The whole team?
That's what he said to me.
Okay.
It said the same thing to Dave Evans, who was the other young'un. He's waiting because they all live on the same road. Alan's mum and dad lived there. Alan lived there. Keith Hobson lived there. Jimmy Leach lived there. Cleggy lived down road. It's like the world's most famous fishing street. Sheffield Road in Barnsley. So we've met there and Cleggy's looked like that. He can see there's no movement. So he's opened his boat and he's got this pole out. Took top kit out of the pole, put it all together, gone like that, and I thought he was going to show us a pole. So I think, what are we doing? No sign of Keith. And he's gone, pushed it up in air, upside of this gable end on a terraced house, and he's tapped on this window. Bang, 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 bang. And then just took the pole down, put it back in bag. Closed boat, walked over to us. You all right? Yeah, good. He'll be up in a minute.
No, he'd been tapping him up with his
He didn't
pole.
even, he just knew what we're going off, because Keith were out all night, whatever, gambling, loose women, singing, just being a charming character that he is. And he's gone, come round, we'll put kettle on. So Keith opened the door, as he would do, and then walked off in his vest and pants, Y-fronts, and turned cooker on. I'm like, what are we doing? But Clegg had already built this into journey, half an hour. And we've gone in, there's a pan of stew on in an enamel pan for breakfast.
Stew?
Yeah, stew.
What, beef, potatoes?
Miners breakfast, apparently. Yeah, because it's...
Is that a thing?
No, I think it's just a big pan and everything goes in it and you keep adding to it all week, and if you're hungry, you eat out of it. And, hey, but it thickens up, gravy thickens up. And Cleggy's got a slice of bread offside, which Keith's man made, homemade bread, and Cleggy's dipped his thing in and he's gone, get this in here, Hobson's gone, get out of my stew. Anyway, we've trotted, and I think
That's done me, that.
Tim Annan's there. He's pulled up in his fancy. Dick's got a Granada, lovely car. Tim Annan's got a Volvo estate.
Remember Tim from Aston really
well. And I think
well.
Malcolm Burdett, the Barnsley manager, massive influential character, he's then pulled up in his Volvo. Tommy's got a Volvo. It's the Daiwa thing. It's a rich man's game. And I've got my Mark III Escort, X-Reg. Black wing, because I've obviously had to have a new wing on it. Off with trots. Got a bit of problem with engine, it's not right. And I'm flat out in 4th gear. They're obviously in 5th, auto cruise, relaxed, telephone on, cigar on. We can't keep up. And Dave's going, get your foot down. I said, I know I'm going to lose them. We're going over at Woodhead. And we've pulled into this thing at Old Trafford, on Canal. And there were no parking spaces. And Cleggy, like he would do, has just gone into the car park. And I've followed him because I don't know what I'm doing. And I've pulled up and there's smoke coming out of my bonnet. Because, without boring you, because I were into mechanics at the time, I'd got oil dripping out my air filter because breather part were blocked. Great. Makes me laugh now. And there's oil dripping out of the air filter onto exhaust manifold, which is glowing because my car's going faster than it's supposed to. Because I'm trying to keep up with Volvos, aren't I? And so I've opened bonnet to make sure, which has allowed oxygen in, and it's burst into flames.
This is your first match for Barnsley.
Yeah. And
as everyone's getting out of the car.
Yeah, we're outside at Canal. So I've run round to the back of the car on the boat, and I've got, the big margarine tubs that we used to keep as maggots in that fitted into the side of your ASI box. I've grabbed one of them, because we're on Canal, it's a towpath pub. And I've scooped a load of water out and chucked it on like, and I've turned around and everybody's looking at me. And Cleggy's like, looked at me as I said, and he's waiting with Tommy to say, because Tommy wants to say, I just want to say hello to Mick, our new member. And I'm like wiping grease and oil off my face. Dave Evans is on the floor laughing. And I'm like, it's all right, it's just exhaust manifold, it's just breather part, be all right when it cools down.
And Dick's going, this is our latest recruit, by the way.
Yeah. He's a good one. Good with cars.
It's like something out in a film, innit?
Anyway, it got better.
That's brilliant.
I've got on bank and I've tried that hard to prepare. That I've spent all my time tying hooks. And I used to tie them and put them in greasewood packets and all that. And I'd left them outside at Settee where I'd finished tying them the night before and not going up with me. Fortunately, a lad from Tipton, and I'm not sure if it weren't Dave Lloyd, who I then worked with.
Yeah,
at Preston.
Lloyd, yeah.
He went, is everything all right? I said, no, I've got no hooks. And he gave me a packet of Drennan carbon casters and a spool of Damel Tectan or something like that. And I fished, caught a couple of pound, and off we went.
Did all right?
Yeah, did great. Yeah, but it wasn't that. We were a practice match before the semi.
Okay.
And then, so the week after is the semi. And obviously I'm just starting and he's, so Tommy's gone because Dick didn't come to the semi-final. Tommy's gone, right, I want you to run bank. You're in A, B and C sections. He said, you've got Dennis, I think they were, Tommy, Keith Hobson, Dennis, A, B, C. He's gone, I want to know everything that's going off. If you can meet up with the runner from D section, or I can't remember, it might have been Alan Taylor Senior, he'll pass information and you'll bring it back to me. Dennis just wants support. That's all he needs. Just talk to him and ask him, and and he'll ask you the right questions. You've got to give him the right answers. So what about Keith? He went, just ignore him. He'll be fishing caster.
Obbo.
Yeah. He said, just ignore him. Don't tell anybody else what he's doing, and don't ask him what he's doing.
Just leave Keith to it. Just leave.
And he was at the side of Kevin Ashurst, who's putting Joker in with this nice little bit of plastic, whatever he'd got on Henry's pole, because it was improvisation, as we know. Just a natural angle could do that.
Yeah, probably kinder potting 40 years before.
And Obbo's loose feeding casters all over.
And who won?
Kevin.
Did Kevin beat him, did he?
Yeah. He was throwing little balls of Joker in at one stage, Kevin. He started his match by throwing leaned up Joker that far from his float.
Incredible.
So you're in then, aren't you? You're all in. And it took a little while to establish myself, because you go to your first meeting and you've got John Allerton, Dick Clegg, Keith Hobson, Tommy Pickering, Dennis White, Alan Scotton, Stu Killen, Andy Kinder, Andy Sellers, Martin I, Kev Olvey, they were there, I think, at that time. There's probably people I've missed.
But just them names,
listen
though,
to
Mick.
that.
It's like,
and I'm sat in a meeting like that, and they're going, you're sitting there. And I'm sat, and I'm at side of Alan, because he sat opposite the committee, which was Malcolm Bidette, Dick Clegg, Tommy Pickering, Dennis. Always used to sit just in the corner so he didn't have to go to the bar, I think. He said, "Get us a drink, I can't get out." Pete Bagshaw with
Baggy?
Yeah. And Tim Hannon, who used to fall asleep in corner.
What a group of anglers.
Amazing.
Where were meeting?
Cock Inn at Barnsley, famous.
I've been there.
Yeah.
My first
Hobson
few
were
were
late.
there.
It was the closest pub to Keith Hobson's house he could walk. So he did, so he could have 10 pints. Cold Stones, different stones as beer. And he were always late, always last there. And Cleggy used to go mad. They had like a husband and wife relationship. It was
Right.
Great. So
Is it still there, Cockin?
Yeah.
It's still there, still a pub?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get Dennis on, Mick.
That'd be a great
I'm really
place.
trying to get Dennis on.
I'll pick him up, bring him down to you.
He needs a bit of persuasion. I've spoke to Tommy a bit. I have spoke to Dennis, but obviously I'd love to get him on.
He's got some great stories.
Maybe if you could give him
A nudge.
Yeah, just
I'll tell him it's not scary.
and we'll come up and we'll do it. But I'd imagine Dennis White, the Cockin, in Little Pub. It'd be
great memories.
when you're reeling them names off and them seats there. I don't know if it's me, but it's
No. It's
just something special
It's
there.
the stuff of. It's legendary, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
there
to
is.
even be allowed in that room at a meeting amongst those people about fishing. Stu Killen, if I didn't mention him, he were there. And a lot of people have been in and out of that room. You know, I remember your name being mentioned in that room for the first time. And Barnsley had a policy, because you're obviously young, special, shining light. We can see what Mark Godfrey's going to be. And Barnsley had a policy at the time of he's too young. Because we've got to go through the drinking, the womanising thing and all that, which you seem to be able to do both, which is great. Some massive moments in that room, massive.
Barnsley from then for you, then Mick, what did it become? What was it? What are the memories that when you sit across from me now you want to talk about? What are they?
Well, the job is to break into the team, because that's your next step into it, because you're in above your head, you're out your depth, and you've got to prove why you rang Dick Clegg up. And I worked my nuts off, and I absorbed everything. And Alan Scotthorne took me under his wing. He said, "Hey, come with me." Jimmy Leach had gone to one side, and he wasn't with Barnsley, and him and Alan worked together. And so Alan were kind of floating, because everybody they'd all teamed up and paired up. And of course, I'm then travelling with somebody who I didn't hate him anymore, obviously, because my dad had forgiven him and I had. And he took me down to Trent at Higgin, and he taught me loads. And what it did, it brought me up, because it's like, right, we're here now, aren't we? This is it. All the myths have gone. So you can focus on your fishing. And I learnt quite a lot, and I worked hard, and every now and again you got an opportunity. And the first one came in 95. So I joined in 91. And there were a couple of nationals, one at Trent. Our Trent team was so strong, I wasn't going to get in that. And I think they went down to Cameron Hills. And anyway, at 95, I'm fishing, first national, Gloucester Canal. Tommy became the captain.
Tommy Pickering.
Yeah, so Dick was the captain, and somewhere in between, Tommy became the captain. And I'm sure we'll talk about Tommy, because I've got a great story about him with Barnsley, and I'll tell you all in one bit, because obviously there's a second chapter with Tommy, isn't there? Gloucester Canal, big match, 85 teams of 12.
Very big match.
1,000 and whatever, somebody will do the maths. It's not 1,100, but it's somewhere between 1,000 and 1,100. And Tommy's got it back, because he would do, wouldn't he? Because he's really good at drawing, and he drew peg 85 and peg. But you need, in an 85 peg section, you need a decent draw, don't you? Gloucester Canal, really tough. We'd practice. We used to go away for a week, and other weekends as well. And this is quite a pivotal thing. And I've made the team, and KL and M sections, right up at top end near, you know what it's called, at the other end of Gloucester, Pilot.
Yeah.
And it's going to be rock hard up there. Canal's full of fish. We know how to catch these skimmers and bream and odd roach, but it was summertime. It was going to be a skimmer and bream match. To do well in an 85 peg section, it's like winning an open match that's bigger than most open matches these days.
Yeah.
That's it.
To win your section on that
How many
national,
85 peggers is there?
none.
Exactly.
You have to win an 85 peg match just to win
Yeah.
your section.
And I've drawn M. I'm N peg international. I'm peg 1,000 and come on, Tob. Let's call it 1,050. That's what peg I am. And Tommy's come to me and he's gone, didn't want you there, young'un. It's your first one. I wanted you a nice easy section A, B, C, D, whatever. Listen, just catch me a fish. That's all I want you to do. Don't go no. Catch me a fish. So off I trots. I've got a kitchen sink with me because it's deep. I've got all these top fives and I'm just about to get on this bus and a lad called Webb from Dower Gordon League, lovely fella. I met him in Denmark earlier that year and he's gone, we've drawn. I said, MPEG International. He went, oh, you've got your trolley? No. I ain't got a trolley. Well, it's canal, innit? We just hop over the fence. He went, you won't make it. The bus dropped us off at L section and now we're M85.
No.
And there were gaps because there's massive bays up there. They were leaving these big bays out. Anyway, he's gone, do not get that bus because we had to go on coaches. 25 anglers on a coach. So there's 4 coaches for one section. And he's gone, stay there. He's come back, here, take that. Cheers. Anyway, we're at
Trolley.
Because I'm talking 150 pegs I've got to walk because I've got all of 85. It goes and fishes and it's going to be garbage. So I've cooked one ball in and I'm fishing and it's blue like the sea. There's no colour. It's that deep. It's crystal clear like a swimming bass. And I've got Malcolm Burdett and Alan Taylor Senior, who I realise are there because Tommy's panicking that my head's going to come off because I'm young and it's my debut. But I don't have my place in the team. Float goes under, catches a roach. So I've got my fish. I put another ball in because now I'm fishing for a skimmer. Float goes under, catches a skimmer. Put 3 balls in and I'm fishing and I come 4th in section. And Malcolm, I don't know how he knew. They've carried my gear back, helped me to get back. It's that far. Malcolm's got his jag. Malcolm 2 jags. And he's got We Are the Champions playing out at top at Sunroof at this jag. And I've got to get on coach and they're all staring at me. Because Malcolm is getting to hear that the results are coming in. And in an 85 peg section, you've only got to come top 10, haven't you? Do you know what I mean? It's like you've only got to have caught a few fish because of the point tally. So I'm buzzing, get on this coach. I've got to wait an hour and whatever half. By the time we got to coach, unloaded it, put all your gear away and it's starting to come. Anyway, we won the national.
Yes.
We've won the Division 1 national. So 1995, 1990, Alan Mayer's put me elastic in my pole. 5 years later, I've got an embassy, National Federation Anglers, gold national medal.
Magic.
Octopus Bounty Blacks. Dennis White's fishing, Tommy Pickering's fishing, Alan Scotton's fishing. There's a photograph in Alan's tackle room and I'm there in it. And it were a massive picture in Octopus's offices, which I later saw later in life. And and then 96 national, we went with them. Year after, we were 3rd, and I think our cost us winning it. I drew it to score last bend and fished too far because it were too deep and heels were in depth and I got it wrong. I had a message from Tommy by the time I got home. He's ring me, what went wrong? This. Make sure you put it right. 97, year after, it's on Stainforth and New Junction Canal.
Yeah.
We practiced like you can't believe. I'm on about, he had Ian Bowman taught me how to squat fish because that were a real tricky place to fish. And I drew at Crowell, Bonnie Ale, Crowell.
Out in the sticks.
Yeah, about four or 5 pegs in. Dead coloured, shallow, completely different to Junction with 2 matches. My dad fished the same national, and he was fishing for CMA Team Daiwa Scotland, which were Steve McCaveney and Party. He'd also fished for them with them year before, and he went to Junction, so I gave him all my deep rigs, and I went to Stain and Fish Squat, and I think I were 4th or 6th in my section again. Out of probably about 75 teams then, I think it was, 81 teams it might have been. 4 of them couldn't make it. And we won. So I had 2 gold medals in 3 years. And, well, it's just amazing, isn't it? And then what do you do from there? It's just that.
But you've been in it ever since.
Yeah, and Trent Nationals 2004, 2014, 2008. We've won. I think it were 8 or 9 national gold medals for Barnsley. And not sounding to be flippant, but I've not even considered
Seconds and thirds.
Yeah, because nobody remembers second, do they?
No. Which is phenomenal in itself. 8 or 9 gold national medals. The biggest team match of the year in the UK.
Yeah, I think I've got 4 or 5 from the Trent. I didn't fish one of them, but we didn't win either, which was interesting. So maybe just a bit of luck that, but
very interesting. What's it like fishing for Barnsley, mate? What's so special about it? What makes that team what it is? Why is it so successful? It's historical. People mention fishing and Barnsley who don't even go fishing, and they know about Barnsley Blacks. They know it's a thing that, like...
Yeah, the Barnsley Blacks it's not a team, is it? It's a movement, it's a thing, it's an entity. And I know that sounds a bit pompous, but this year is the 50th year of the Barnsley Blacks.
2026.
Formation, yeah. And what year we're on? So I joined in 91, so 35 years I've been involved in that. And Dennis White, Dick Clegg, Tommy Pickering, Keith Ashmore, people that I can think of, Mick Ward, and who made it what it was from the beginning, and so great people have fished for that. But Barnes has continued to invest in itself, it's continued to maintain itself, it's always presented itself well. You know, when I joined Barnsley, I was sent to a tailor's at the top of Sheffield Lane top of Prince of Wales Road in Sheffield, to Ashley Rogers' tailor's. And Malcolm Badette's gone, phone this number, make an appointment, he'll fit your out. And there's a photograph I actually forgot to show you in the scrapbook. And basically you got grey flannels, a bit like the England thing, and you got a burgundy blazer.
Barnsley.
With Barnsley and district embroidered onto your chest. That's what it meant. And that very thing there is why Barnsley is what it is. And that's continued to this day. We've always attracted a sponsor because we conducted ourselves in the right way. And the first thing you're told is what happens in Barnsley stays in Barnsley. You keep everything in here. We're a fishing team. We're a professional sports team, which is why people want to sponsor us. And all that goes together with the kind of ethos. You work hard, you fish hard. If you don't put effort in, you don't get reward. That is internally and externally. So externally, I mean, that's how you get the results. But internally, that's how you breed the types of people that you want involved in a team like Barnsley. And that's rolled forward. And Dick Clegg's been my captain, Tommy Pickering, Tony Peel, Andy Oldham, Glenn Lawrence, Lee Kerry, and it's kind of a baton that gets passed. And I've helped Tommy in the past. My earliest job at Barnes, I was a press officer, because Tommy always had great aspirations for me. Excuse me. And I think he was thinking, right, let's get you up to speed, because he'll be like, you'll be manager one day. And a job I never wanted and still wouldn't do now. But when Lee asked me to be his vice captain, I'm very close to Lee, and we do a lot of things together, and we understand each other. I mean, I think we're quite different, so we make a good team. And I said, absolutely. And when Lee stood at his first meeting, I made a statement, which is, we are only custodians of Barnsley. The current anglers in it are merely part of its story. We're just a chapter, because many have come before and many will come after. And you need to conduct yourself in a way that is conducive to maintaining that level that's been set by our predecessors, like Dick Clegg and Dennis White and Tommy Pickering, to name but a few greats. And that's why Barnsley's the greatest team. And I would like to say the world, but that's something we're working on. But certainly the greatest team this country's ever seen, because it's spanned 50 years of success.
It's nice to hear you speak about it with so much passion, and obviously I'm very, very lucky to be a part of it. And I've been from quite a young age, and to hear someone like you speak about it with the passion you've got for it, with the experience from a long time ago as well, it's special. It's a special little part of fishing and team fishing, and
they don't just ask everybody.
No,
you can't just fish for Barnsley if you.
I'm curious because it's really interesting to hear you talk about a fishing team in such a professional manner, that again, coming from outside of fishing, like a football team or something like that. Do you think if other teams that you compete against or whatever, if they had the same, and correct me if they do, but if they had the same kind of outlook, would we see, more interest in team fishing? Or because from my limited knowledge, Barnsley have been fairly dominant in recent years.
Yeah, in recent years, yeah. And I must say at this point that there are other people that have done exactly the same as Barnsley, which is what Pete Clapperton did with Essex Van der Nijde.
Yeah.
And Steve
Kim's
Saunders.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Steve Saunders and Steve Gardner led Dorking. Powerful men. Men with purpose. Clappy. Entrepreneur, but also a driven man. You don't get success without drive. Not coincidence that they've led well. Vinnie Smith always springs to mind. Mark Addy and Vinnie Smith.
Highfield.
Yeah, took a team of mates, a bit like the beginnings of Barnsley, and challenged. They challenged. They won things. They won big finals.
There's been a lot.
They beat. They could beat Barnsley. They're teams that I saw as Barnsley went through its roller coaster of events over the last 35 years that I've been involved in. When things were right, things weren't so right, and we had spells of excellence and spells of apathy. Teams like that, Toby, have come in and dominated. But I think fishing's changed, and team fishing doesn't have the appeal. And we could talk about that, because that's not the fault of commercials, but to simplify it, I went fishing to the tidal Trent, sometimes the middle Trent, and the Witham or the Welland. Okay, so all my tackle was prepared for that. Then when other types of venues came into play, like maybe canals, but more importantly still waters, and then commercials, it became very difficult to just turn up on a venue that you knew and fish a team match, because you had to then put all your time and effort into preparing for a team match that was alien. Which meant then you're distracted from what you were doing at your day job, which was fishing the Trent, for instance. Let's just use that as an example. Because what you were doing is you were fishing open on Saturday, because you fished an open on a Saturday, and then you'd have a team match the next day on the same venue with the same maggots that you took home. And so it all was, team fishing was very easy, because it flowed.
Rolled on.
And now it doesn't flow. That's the difference. So team fishing's took a new format. We have these specialised events. We take a run up at them and we focus on them, and they're polarised. Whereas before, team fishing weaved in and out of your weekends fishing.
Yeah. Now it's like blocks of projects. And I actually think that it's having a real good, I don't know if resurgence is the right word, but it's having a real strong focus from some quality groups of people again more recently. Things like the Commercial National.
Yeah.
Selling out teams that put a month of practice in for that event.
Yeah.
The Nationals, the same. The Winter League final. It's a massive buzz around it. For months and months, people now go practicing for it. And
absolutely.
Teams are great. And you talk about other teams. Tackle and Baits winning the National this year. Yeah. A group of mates who are excellent anglers, who have got drive, a few strong people at the top end, likes of Alex running it, Alex Bates. They won the National. Yeah. They were second in the Winter League final. They are brilliant, and they will continue to do well. Yeah,
there is some teams trying again. I believe Dorking are regrouping and coming forward, because they were amazing.
I've heard Simon Wilsmore's taking the reins
absolutely.
of captain.
And I think it's good because it's healthy, because there are still nucleuses of people myself included, but I pick and choose my moments due to other commitments. But I look at you, who wants to be right in the middle of all that, like the people I mentioned from the old Barnsley. They were what you are now, and they wanted to be right in the thick of it. But just to reiterate that, I think the calendar is more polarised, and we polarise events and say that is an important event, whereas before there was a calendar which you went fishing every Saturday and Sunday. And just to reiterate that is that when they started the Drennan Super League, Barnsley didn't join it because they couldn't fit it in. We didn't join it. Dick said, no, we want to fish the National, and we fished the Winter League. And of course we had internationals. He were England manager, and he wouldn't join the Super League because he didn't want to distract away from the main activity of the team, because we used to go away and practice for a week. So I just think it's slightly different, but you can't deny the facts. 85 teams of 12, 95 national at Gloucester. That I just remembered, we've won twice on Gloucester. Fish both teams, that's amazing, isn't it? Great.
Been a good venue to Barnsley, Gloucester Canal.
Has, yeah.
To say it's 3.5 hours away.
But that year, there were 5 divisions. Think about that.
Now there's 2.
But there wasn't anything else to do. There was nothing else to do. Winter League and National. Now Barnsley, it were important for Barnsley because they wanted to qualify for the World Club Champs even back then, because they'd tasted international, the flavour of international fishing, and they wanted to maintain that. But team fishing as it stands today is alive and kicking for those that really want it. I think a lot of people have gone, because it's fragmented and the smaller, there's not the sort of, what's the word, where you aspire to get to that draw with 1,000 blokes in, which is why people who couldn't win, were never going to win, would go for a week's practice away with the mates. They'd all book a guest house in Gloucester, have a great time, loads of practice, loads of ale, a couple of curries, and then fish a national and come 45th. But the buzz at the draw, they'd all travel down the night before, booking an hotel. Some of them even took a coach to get the coach. So they took a coach from Rotherham, for instance. Rotherham Raiders on Gloucester Canal, went down in a coach.
But now them groups of people now that want to go and have a few beers, some curries, have a little buzz and have a fish together.
They go to Springvale Fisheries.
And go to Western Pools on a festival.
Absolutely.
And go to Stafford Moor on a festival and go to White
That's exactly it.
Go to Tunnel Barn.
Same but different.
Yes.
Same but different. But there's still that nucleus of amazing, high-level, competitive people. And as you mentioned, Tackle and Baits won the National, great team. Dorking, great team. And for us that still want that, it's massive, But each to their own, I think.
Let's move it on from Barnsley fishing, because we could natter about Barnsley all day.
Yeah, Barnsley friends.
We could have done a Barnsley podcast. We'll have to come on Wayne and do a Barnsley one. Really upset Ringer and Rue. We've talked a lot about your fishing and the early days of fishing. Give us a little bit of background about what happened aside from fishing in your early life, Mick. Like, I don't know everything about you. What did you do for early work? What was your career path during this time of going fishing? You're driven for Barnsley, you're in Barnsley, you fished in Young England, you're now a young gentleman that's thriving in angling. What is how are you funding that? What are you...
Well, you have to get a job. Dad's like, you finish school tomorrow? Yeah, good. Day after, you better start looking for a job.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I couldn't stand school because I've got, I think they'd give you a diagnostic and put a label on you now, but I can't focus. I've got no attention span. So I just used to stare out at window at school and joke about and clown. And however, I've always had gift at Gab, so I applied for
I'd never known that.
A few jobs. And basically, I were offered 3 jobs. One was a sewing machine mechanic at Two Steeples Sewing Factory, where they made lingerie and women's clothing in Rotherham. And when I went round the factory, I got heckled by all the girls from Canclaw, district of Rotherham, and they scared me to death. So I knocked that. I refused that. I didn't take that.
It'd be different if you went in now, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. Brace yourself. Well, I said to him, so what is the job servicing everything in here? He went, yes, everything apart from the machinist. I get a miss because they look like I'm going to get attacked. And then I applied for a job at British Steel because my dad worked there and it looked like a great firm. And typical Yorkshire institution. I think Martin Reed put me a word in, and they offered me a job in metallurgy, which then could have led to become something amazing. But I wouldn't have passed because I'm thick as a brick, because I had no attention span at school. But that were YTS wages, about £29 a week or something, and that wasn't going to get me very far, were it? Putting fires out in my Mark 3 Escort. So, and it weren't going to pay for many parts of casters. And then I were offered a job at Yorkshire Water, where my mum worked. Don't ever say that nepotism is not a thing, because it is.
What's nepotism?
Where your family get you in.
Ah,
a bit like
right.
everybody in here.
Yeah.
Top. and in the interview for that, on the panel, the head of HR was a guy called Stuart Thompson, who also fished for Barnsley back in the Winter League. He was Dave Thomas's best pal, an amazing angler in his own right, but more famous for being his pal. And he was at the Barnsley 25th anniversary, because he was a great guy. And he went fishing. Funnily enough, I think the mechanical engineer that were going to be boss did a bit of fishing. And I sat there and talked about all this fishing I were doing. And of course, you normally get a 16-year-old going, And what else do you do? Well, I repair cars with my dad, because my dad's a mechanic, a good one. And come on, give his hand. And we used to do a bit of work on side, so we could pay for all fishing. So I could use a spanner and explain to him that I can change brakes on a car and repair an engine, and I go fishing. So I've got a focus, and so I got a job.
Yorkshire Water?
Maintenance fitter. Signed me over. It's a 4-year apprenticeship, and they sent me to college. That was hard work. So I spent all my time. I got reported back to work, because the gaffer at college said that I spent more time entertaining the class than I did concentrating on my work. And I went, that's what they said at school. And I thought he was just being arsey like the school teachers were, but I clearly just can't focus.
And looking back now, you can see that from a very early.
But what were I doing? Wasting my time trying to do something that didn't fit. But you don't do that, because you've got to go and get a job, haven't you? So I got a job at Yorkshire Water, and 53 quid first week's wages, and then it worked its way up, and I were on a whopping £180 take-home pay, because I remember Alan Scotto saying to me, isn't it time you got a van so we could go in your van as well? And I've gone, can't afford it, because I'm trying to buy an house for 28 grand for an house. And
that's mind-boggling.
I've got no money. And he's gone, well, how much do you earn? Oh, sorry, and it was a conversation that he's gone, we've got no work, and because sites are crap and it's frozen, and he always said he had no money, and then told me that he'd told the job centre that they wanted 120 quid a day. And I said, I'm on £180 a week take home, Al. And he went, well, how do you afford to do this? I said, I don't. Can't even afford any carpets. So I got a new house with no carpets, and I got splinters in my feet and all sorts. But you always had casters, but you didn't have any carpets. And you just struggled along, didn't you? But that's your life, isn't it? And you put together, and things come, and you save a little bit, and you do what you do. And so yeah, I did that, and nearly got sacked because one of the main engineering gaffers fished for Dan Brighouse, because people who fished went to work for Yorkshire Water. I think it was just a thing that they were attracted to it. And I had to go into his office where he took these steps, and he said, I've got a bit of a problem. Wow, what's the matter? Well, you keep going out sick, because they only give you like 28 days holiday. Well, that weren't enough to fish for Barnsley, would it? Couldn't fit everything in. So I kept throwing out sick. And he went, you're doing your house up, aren't you? And I said, yeah, because I were hands-on, didn't have enough money to pay a bill, so I were doing it all. And he went, will you do me a favour? He said, when you go on sick, do your work on your house and save your holidays to go fishing. He said, because last week you were in Angling Times and you were not sick.
Ah.
He said, do me a favour, because you're going to get meat sack as well. Swap it round. His name was Pete Wilson, great guy.
Fair play, Pete.
Saved me bacon. Yeah. And
he got you back, hadn't he?
Oh, he'd got me back. Drove Gaffer in between us nuts, because Gaffer in between us hated it. Yorkshire Water give you time off to fish for England and all sorts. So yeah, it were and that's what I did. But then, that weren't really me, because you had to be there. There weren't enough holidays, and I were never going to make any money because I weren't really into what I did. I could do it, welding, turning, repairing machines that you could walk inside, pumps that you could actually walk inside of.
massive things.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like big stuff, yeah. Big engineering, nuts and bolts, 50 mil, 2 inches.
As
big,
far
a nut
far
bolt.
from my expertise as you could possibly get.
Yeah,
that is.
14-pound hammer and, welding on your back, laying it water. And I can't describe to you. Climbing inside incinerators where they burnt, sewage and because it was too toxic to just use, in today's environmentally friendly thing. It was a big sewage works at Blackburn Meadows, which is outside of Meadowall.
Yeah.
Ever been across the Tinsley Viaduct there? And I did 6 years apprenticeship there. Then everything changed and they sent me out into sticks and I was mobile. And I just weren't motivated today. And then the company changed because they modernised it and there were 5,000 people tossing it off basically at Yorkshire Water, doing no. And they wanted to reduce it in a master plan. So they offered redundancies and I took it because I knew that I weren't happy. I weren't. It's not where I needed to be.
How long were you there for, Mick?
Nearly 10 years. 10 years.
It weren't a short stint then.
No.
And what came after that? You took the.
Well, I got a little
redundancy?
bit. Yeah, it weren't a lot, but gone like that. And a great guy. I need to mention is Tony Wood from Grimsby.
Fantastic human being.
Amazing person.
Love him to bits.
He's the nicest bloke you'll ever meet. Worst businessman I've ever met. And he used to have a business called Baitline, and he used to take maggots abroad. And I also had a pal called John Holt from Manchester, who we were like kindred spirits. And John sold diamond cutting blades, and I thought, well, I'll go and sell them because he can do that, and he's like me, and he goes fishing, and he don't seem to work. And I'll have a go at that. It's so naive, ridiculous. And I said to Woody, is there what I can do in your thing? He said, yeah, you can come and drive a van for me if you want. I'll give you 50 quid to drive it, and then or 80 quid or something like that, and it would have maggots and blah blah blah. Anyway, I went that way. And so I started driving this van with like 300-400 gallon of maggots in it. I'd pick maggots up from 3 or 4 farms, starting in Scunthorpe, Hull, Scunthorpe. Then I'd drop into Gainsborough, pick a few maggots up from there, and then call in at on Bennington at Newark and pick up the pinkies. Straight down here, past here, right M25, Dover, ferry.
Tunnel weren't a thing then?
No, it was too expensive. It were there, but it was too expensive.
Right.
Because you were trying to keep costs to a minimum. And somebody had this like transport trade account. I think it was John Roberts' bait farm had this trade account. And Woody used to get these tickets, like 26 quid foot van. 6 metre sprinter. You'd have to pull in when you got into Belgium to turn the pinkies so they didn't die because they were fresh. Call in at the tobacco selling area, which were just inside Belgium where the tax was different, and get your mate some tobacco for his own purposes because obviously not allowed to import and export.
Yeah.
Drive all the way through the night and get right up into the top of Holland at a place called Nijkerk where a company called the Sabo, and I'd pull up in their car park at pitch black dark, lay on front seat, pull my duvet over me, sleep for an hour, and then get a top up window. This
journey you've just said from setting off from Scunny is
24.
It's fruit night.
Yes.
It's
one
afternoon
I'd leave our house at 1 in the afternoon.
And you're pulling up at 5:30 in the morning in Northern Holland.
Nijkerk, yeah. And then they'd take to like 150 gallon of maggots off you, get you a coffee, lovely coffee. And then weave your way back down through Tilburg to Andrea Vlemix's, call and pick some leam up from Powell's.
I remember the bags. The bags.
And they supplied Van den Eynd with their leam because they had a farm or something where they used to dig it out of the ground. And then do all your little drops. And I used to drop maggots off at Jan van Schendel's house.
Did you really?
Yeah, you'd have 4 or 5 gallon of pinkies and stuff, and Gary's door would be open. I'd just go into Gary's leave it, and his missus, Maria, I think, used to make me a coffee, give me a chocolate cake, Wagenburg, where he lived. And I'm on my jacks, aren't I? And
just on your own, you and a van and some maggots?
Yeah. And then make your way back down, call in at Calais, struck a great deal with this guy who called Tiger Wholesale because he were Indian, and that's their logo in it. And so I was buying trays beer for myself.
Just for yourself?
Yeah, but when you drink 42 trays of beer, anyway, So I said to him, is there a better price?
Just like that backer that you picked up for your mate.
for buy a bigger quantity? He went, well, there's 82 cases on a pallet. And I'm looking at van. I said, can you get a forklift and put it straight to the back of there? He's going, yeah, of course I can. How much for a pallet? Well, I'll do it at £7 a tray or £8 a tray or something like that. Because Scott's van's empty, and Woody said to me, whatever you can get in back of that van on your way back is yours. £50, I just need the maggots delivering. I didn't touch that side of things. So I'd buy bags of boilers from Lacebo, I'd buy worms, I'd buy a load of comic floats that sent really cheap and flog them on bank or wherever. And if I could make a couple of quid off a few trays of Stella. Anyway, I struck a deal with a lad who was Fish for Goldthorpe, Derek Jackson. He had a beer off and he'd take all 82 cases in one go. And he was chuffed at £12 a tray. So all of a sudden, all declared obviously to the Inland Revenue. And he also liked Golden Virginia, so I'd let him have some of that I bought from my mate. Of course you did. And I thought, and it were great because you were like running the gauntlet, and it was a thing. It was a thing. That's what we're going off in them days. Nearly got. Well, I thought I was going to get pulled coming back through customs on this particular day, and it's midday and I'm queuing, and it was like holiday time or something. So it was like congested, and you could see that the customs and excise people were like riled up, and. This woman's gone, stop, pull over, sort of pulled over, and she says, what, you going back at the van? I said, empty maggot tubs. She said, empty maggot tubs? I went, yeah. She went, oh yeah, I think we've spotted you on your way out a few times, because of course I work every single week, sometimes twice a week. And she said, can I have a look? Yeah, of course you can. And as we're walking right up back at van, I'm looking, there's two lads in a van behind me who are obviously at it, and they're laughing, because I've got tugged, haven't I?
Don't know the lads. They're just
no, but they're laughing.
They're at
they're like, and I'm like, so I've opened the back of this van, and there's a 2 metre high pallet of Stella Artois. Because the wholesalers, he put it on with a forklift truck, and he just put it on back just like that, nice and easy. So we didn't have to handball it. If you don't handball it, you need another £1 a tray, don't you? You know what it's like, operations, and I've turned around, these two are dying. They're dying with laughter.
Because they can see back at van.
Oh, yeah. And this woman's gone, where's the maggot tubs? And I said, they're up at back of there. She said, can I open the side door? I said, no, it don't work, because it was Woody's van, weren't it? It was like locked with broke. And
so it didn't work?
No, side door didn't work. So she's staring at this tower of Stella, and she's gone, I need to see the maggot tubs. She said, I can smell them. And I went, they're over there. And she's jumped up, only a small woman she were, jumped up, and she's stuck her hands in plastic and scaled this pallet of Stella, climbed between that and the roof of the van, and I can see her feet dangling, and I've turned around, these two are gone. They're dying. And I'm like, I want to leave it out, lads. And she's gone, oh, I see them. They're at the side of those 2 boxes of Golden Virginia, aren't they? I said, yeah, my mate's a heavy smoker. She went, on your bike, don't make an habit of it. Because I'm the youngest, I'm 26, 25, whatever. And thanks very much.
This is Calais coming back?
This is in Dover. I'm off the ferry. She's gone, boom, look, shut doors. And she's clocked me looking at these two. She's turned around, she went, and she went, on your bike, young man. And I've drove off straight up M20, up M25, and I was giggling all the way back. I thought them two were copping it. Don't matter what they've got, she's stripping lot out, tyres off and lot, cutting seats. I'm looking for him. Oh yeah, great stuff.
Love it. What a great story. Yeah.
Oh no, that's how
your
it
heart
worked.
must have been.
Yeah, of course it were. But I mean, what they're going to do? Take it off you. But we used to bring Joker in at winter. I'd bring 300 kilos of Joker. I was the Joker Baron for a little while. That's not a job you want, I can assure you. So yeah, and at the same time, I tried to set up a bit of an old. I don't know what I started. I wanted to sell fishing tackle. Of course I did. I wanted me a fishing tackle.
And did that come from a few colmic floats and a bit of leam and selling some bits?
At the same time, I'd put the word out that I wanted to be in tackle trade, and I went to NEC, and I bumped into Nick Larkin, who I'd been at the side of on the Witham. And I told him I was trying to get into tackle trade, and he went, good luck. And I saw him at the NEC, and he said, what are you doing? I said, because I was there on my own, walking around stalls saying hello, people you know from fishing. And he's gone, well, I've just let Wizzo, ground base, I've just let them go as a distributor. Now, I thought I wanted to be an agent, but I didn't know what an agent were. I didn't really know what an wholesaler were either. So naive, it's ridiculous. Pathetic, really. No plan. And I went, great, I'll do it. And he's gone, here's a price list, gives a ring next week. At the same time, Dave Bell from Doncaster, Tommy Pickering's ex-brother-in-law, he were trying to get rid of an agency, so you were a self-employed sales rep for a tackle company, and he bequeathed that to me. What I didn't know is he didn't want it because he couldn't get paid off him, way ahead tackle. But it were great character building, and so I got this tackle agency. I then realised I got to buy some stock off Nisa because he wanted an wholesaler, not an agent, but I didn't say no because you daren't, do you? Because I've declared it and I'm in too deep, and I've asked for something and they've gone yeah, and so I'm just winging it then. So I've got a bedroom full of plastic boxes full of Nisa feeders. I've got some samples of way ahead fishing tackle, and I've got to deliver some maggots to Holland next week. And I fought my way along for a bit, made a few quid here and there, paid my taxes on all proceeds, obviously. And but that were no good because you couldn't really, it weren't firm, it weren't stable. I was just basically like a rag and bone man, just scratching a living from week to week. And I don't think my dad approved because it weren't a proper job, were it? But he was like, well, you'll be all right, you'll sort it because you do, I brought you up, you'll do it.
How did you sort it? I didn't know this part of your work thing existed. Obviously, as a kid, it were Mick Vials, and I'm assuming it's what comes next.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, so I
did that for a little while. Went fishing, great crack. Well, I could tell you some right stories. And then when I look back, just before I turned it into a disaster, because I had no plan, no idea, no business acumen, nothing. Didn't know what I was doing. I was just winging it and scratching a few. And as long as I had more than I'd start with at end of week, all these £20 notes, you have to count them. Spent more time counting these £20 notes because you had to take them all back over to Holland to buy the Joker and all sorts of crackers things. I were all right, but I needed something firm. And when I look back, I were probably going to head for disaster because it probably never going to develop into anything serious. And I got a phone call from Simon Roth. I were in tackle shop in Leeds selling Drake floats. I was selling Camasan hooks, rod tubes, Maxime that I bought off a guy that used to bring it at Grey Imports, and whatever I could get my hands on, scissors, and I had a van. I used to go around selling tattle in shops, like a snap-on tool van.
Yeah.
And you knock on the door and they go, do you want out? And they go, have you got any oak tyres and box of shot and a few bank sticks, and do what you could, bought and sold what you could.
Yeah.
And Simon said, because I'm with Barnsley, Simon's in Barnsley, you're going to get a phone call in a minute off Ricky Theale. I went, Ricky Theale? Oh, yeah, I've met Ricky once on Fosdyke. He said he's going to ring you, he's at Preston Innovations. I said, yeah, Preston, they make elastic, don't they? Because I used their elastic, because you did, we did. He said, yeah, so it's just an heads up, he's going to ring you. Right, 5 minutes later, phone rings, it's Ricky Theale. Hello. Hello. I'm like, hey, Ricky, you all right? Yeah, I'm great. How can I help you? I believe you're selling fishing tackle. I'm like, yeah. We're looking for a new agent. I'm like, agent, yeah, I've heard of that. That's what I was supposed to be doing, wasn't it? What you selling? And I'm like, well, I sell this, sell that. I'm thinking, Ricky Theale. Because I know who he is. He's managing director of Preston Innovations. And come down for a chat. Can you come down for a chat? Yeah, of course I can. Would you be interested? I went, well, I'm not really sure. So I'm like, Maverick, I'm having, despite the fact it's not stable, I don't want a job. I've had a job, Yorkshire Water. It didn't suit me. They couldn't get enough time off. You couldn't go fishing, could you? You couldn't just drop everything you were doing and go and practice on canoes or whatever. Anyway, he convinced me to come down, so I've drove down. Up where I called it Nathan's of Derby. Basically, I think I was asking for advice, called for a cup of tea. I knew Nathan a little bit, and he's going, yeah, they're good firm, and is that what you want? And I'm like, nah, I don't. I said, but I'm going to go anyway, because I've never not said, I don't say no straight away. I always say, I'll explore it. So I goes down there, put an ill-fitting suit on, didn't put a tie on, didn't want to overdo it, and sat in the foyer at Preston Innovations, and it was Lindsay's birthday. I worked there, and she brought some cakes, and Ricky's lounged on this sofa because he weren't a corporate guy. He were a me guy. And do you want a cake? Ah, it's her birthday. And he's gone like bit into this donut, gone in with his big hands like that. And he's got icing sugar all down his shirt. And cut long story short, he's gone, do you want to go fishing or do you want to earn some money? And I didn't really know what that meant at the time, but he was weighing me up. And I said, well, I need to earn money to go fishing. Yeah, but what I mean is, you're obviously fish for Barnsley. What's the most important thing to you? And I kind of played my cards a bit and just went, no, you know. But I kind of did. I did want, so I needed a stable income. But I said, the trouble is I don't want a job. He went, it's not a job. You're self-employed. We don't have employed salespeople. Preston never had an employed salesperson. We were contractors. We never worked for the company.
Right.
And it's called manufacturer's sales agent to the fishing industry. And that's what my business then became. Anyways, took me, we've chatted. Great it was. He's leant back like that, knocked on this door behind him. This bloke up at the door, which I now know to be John Taylor. He said, bring me that roller in here. John Taylor's walked in with a tripod roller and put it in the middle of the floor. And I realised it was one that I were importing from Italy. I found this name somewhere, I can't remember how I got this name. And I were getting these rollers that were like Colmick Zippo rollers that Bob Nudd used to use, and Dick Clegg had done some very similar. They were all the rage at the time. You screwed the uprights in, and the factory that made them for them were willing to sell them to you, but painted a different colour. Where did you get that from? I said, I've imported it from Italy. And how much were they? I said, £10.50. Good. Right, come on. And I didn't know at the time, but that was just reassurance that I was going to be straight with him.
So he were testing you?
He would tested me. Come on. Followed me into the warehouse. We walked down this aisle. He's grabbed a rod. It was a dream rod, feeder rod. He's pushed it together, thrust it into my hand. He's walked to the other end, pulled on tip. What do you think to that? Oh, it was horrific. It was horrific. I bet I said it's garbage. It's absolute, that's rubbish size. Why, what's wrong with it? I said, it's like the tip and the rod have never met before. It were all flopping at end, and I said, it's got, and he went, He just went like, I just discarded it. That was the second test. We had a walk round, he showed me. He'd already made his mind up. He'd made his mind up before I went down there, because he'd spoke to Tommy Pickering, which I didn't know. He'd also rung my great friend Roy Truman, who was sponsored with Stanford Preston, and said, what's he like? And they said all the right things. People who knew me. And he said, right, I've got something to do, disappeared. And this lad called Mark Elliott, who was the be-all and end-all of Preston Innovations, said, Ricky's told me to get some stuff. And he's got a 9151 pole in his hand. And I've gone, what's that? He's gone, it's a pole. Ricky's told me to get one. I said, no, what? And no. Ricky had already decided, and this was his little play, to stop me saying no. And I've gone, I can't take a pole because I'd need top fives, because we fished on Dawn and River, and he's gone, yeah, and he told me, just take what you need. And he filled his shopping basket and gave me a pole and all the top kits. And Ricky said, even if you don't come to us, he'd like to look after you with Preston Innovations equipment. And I went and seen Ricky and I went, I'm uncomfortable. And he went, don't be. I'll give you a ring next week. So he wrote me, he said, what do you think? I said, I don't want a job. I don't think it's right. And we argued, and I mean, I can't believe I'm saying it. What an idiot. And basically he'd said, he'd shown me the figures, which the area was doing £142,000 turnover. My area, which is the northeast.
In a year?
In a year. Preston were nearly 15 years old at that stage, and the agent before me had inherited it from his father-in-law, who was an amazing sales agent, famous, used to drive a Rolls Royce and mastered the trade. But he wasn't committed to the cause.
Who was that? Was that an
He
angler?
called Nick Hill. No, he'd never been fishing in his life.
Ah, right.
Corporate salesman.
Okay.
And so Ricky wanted to put the final piece of the sales jigsaw together because he'd got these other agents. He'd recruited Tony Morton before me. Mark Harper was there. Charlie Lovell was there. Mick Slater was there. Peter Taylor, a legend, that man. And then they got this Nick Hill, and they needed to get somebody who fitted better. But it were all legal, and they had solicitors get involved. And basically, I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. Why don't we agree to have a 6-month go at it? And if we don't like it, at least we've said that in 6 months' time we'll shake each other's hand if we don't like it. And that bar steward knew that he'd got me up line and sinker, because I weren't leaving after 6 months. Because at the time it was 10% commission. So he said, I know the 14,200 quid isn't going to feed you, but it'll put a bit of fuel in your van for selling you bits and bobs and that one at your rod tubes. And I was dealing with Future Fishing then, which were polylastic and connectors and bungs and bushes, and people remember them. And Preston Innovations then they weren't really in competition, but most people thought they were because Preston were miles in front of them. And he went, get rid of that, job's a good one. You can keep all the rest, crack on. I thought, it's not to lose, it's a quick 14,200 quid. But of course, me being me, which is what he knew, because Tommy had told him, Simon had told him, and Roy had told him, I threw myself at it. And I doubled the area in the first 12 months, and the rest is history.
Wow. That is the Mick Vials joining Preston Innovations story. And you didn't know Ricky before that time, hardly at all?
No, I met him once. And Ricky then became a mentor.
Just the way you recreate what he says, I can tell you had a really good relationship with Ricky.
Yeah, he's no longer with us, and it's. I'd love to be able to talk to him again, especially with what we're doing today. But he had a way about him which made that everything he did was considered and deliberate. And he had 2 ears and 1 mouth, and he used them perfectly.
Yeah, listener.
Oh yeah. He heard everything that everybody said, and he'd make you repeat it just to make sure, and he'd ring it next day and make sure, what do you know about that guru? That sort of thing. What's going on with Drennan? Talk to me about pole floors. That's how he were, and because everything was deliberate, and you would spew your guts to him because you knew he were all in. And I love an all in. I love being part of a team. Anything that we're doing, if we're doing it together and I feel like everybody around me is all in, I'll give you everything I've got. And that's what Ricky did. And he had 6 blokes there, and we'd have a meeting, not very often, 3 or 4 a year. You'd sit around a big oval table, and he'd go, right, what about that, what about that, what about that? And he'd consider you all in all your own special little ways, because we were all different. We all brought something different to the party. And he'd ask the anglers the angling question. He'd ask the not so much anglers, and then he had people who he considered that had a commercial attitude towards selling fishing tackle and an angler's attitude. And he'd give you press the right buttons to get the right answers back. And he was a conduit. And along with obviously the brains of David Preston, who was, a special kind of person, created this platform. But he was clever enough to go, Ricky, and let Ricky just go wild. And I don't think David will mind me saying this, but I think Preston Innovations wouldn't be anywhere without Ricky Theale.
I think he definitely wouldn't mind. He said it himself when he was sat here.
Yeah, and he influenced me. And everything I hear him in myself in today when I'm at work, because a lot of the things he did were fundamental and simple, and they still work in business because it's just clarity. And he was a marketing genius, and he understood it, and he understood people, despite him not really being a people person.
Yeah,
and that got lost. Then I were all in.
Talk to me without us turning it into, because we could talk about this next chapter of you being at Preston for
Yeah,
a
that's
podcast. We could,
yeah.
you know what we're both like. What was the journey at Preston? What was your, from that point and you're in, what happened between going there and coming out of there?
No difference, anything else. Barnsley, right, I need to break through, I need to get into the team. So I'm 6th out of 6 because that's what I've been drafted in for.
You're Ricky's 6th man? Yeah,
because I'm newest and I've got the lowest turnover area. Anyway, I've doubled it, so I'm 5th. Doubled it straight away. And because all it needed was someone to apply themselves. Because this other bloke had got too much going on. He got a million agencies and he walked in and shot, do you want any key nets? Do you want any Preston? Do you want any Whitby knives? Do you want any? And that was the problem with agents. They had some, but they didn't mind if you had a couple of things, especially if the second and third ones were peripheral. Most of the Preston agents were Nash agents at the same time as well, and a company called Waterline, who were the old Steadfast. So they had multiple agencies. So, but I didn't have that sort of baggage, but I had my own business, which I kept. And because Ricky's gone, just crack on, carry on doing what you're doing. And just get rid of that pole elastic from future, because it feels a bit uncomfortable type of thing. So no problem, did it. So then I'm like, how do I get to 4th? I just keep going, grinding it down, because of course the area had been neglected. So it was just a case of pounding the beat, drinking lots of tea, stopping up, well, God knows what time, staying late, arriving early, making sure you're first up, best dressed, putting yourself in front of customers, driving up the northeast, dealing with people like Peter Rambo, who's like, what do you want?
Yeah.
I don't want no stuff. I've given you an order last month, get lost. Billy Clark's couldn't break him. Next thing I know, I'm sat in Bennett's boardroom, Bennett's of Sheffield, with Ricky. He's gone, we're going to Bennett's. Because that were in-house, it was the only account they had in-house, because they couldn't trust anybody else to do it. I didn't realise, but when I look back now, Ricky's gone, yeah, you'll send him in there, he'll sort that out. And so...
Massive shop.
Yeah.
The biggest.
He took me. He babysat me. We went, looked like two bouncers, these badly fitted jackets, because Ricky were a big lad and I were fat. Like I'm now. And we had to eat salmon sandwiches cut from corners and all that. And China teacup. And
that were Bennett's?
That were Bennett's, yeah. And he went, right, I've held your hand. You're going on your own next time. Sort that out. Right, sound. And it just progressed. And I went to 4th and I went to 3rd, and I'm chasing Mick Slater's tail then, because we've got Tony Morn, Mick Slater, he's got Ted Carter's, they're selling loads of poles, big Preston fan, because they've got, Mick's got 15 years start on me. He's been there since the beginning. So it's just a case of how do I climb the ladder and just keep pounding the beat, and then certain products have come and basically override everything else. Carbon active rods came. I remember we were bending the samples. So when you went out to sell, you were in, weren't you? You were all in. And off-box and things that revolutionised fishing tackle.
Groundbreaking products.
Yeah.
Groundbreaking.
But what it did was it broke down the barriers, and the next thing I know, shops are going, when are you coming? Not, you can't come today because Drennan Rep's coming. I'd ring and go, I've got something to show you. And they go, I'll cancel the Drennan and the Darwer guy. What time are you coming? I said 9 o'clock, I'll have kettle on for you. And it happened. And then it grew and it grew and it grew and it grew, and it grew exponentially.
That momentum there and that period and the products that weren't there but became there because of Preston Innovations and that. Oh no,
it's fundamental.
I don't think that'll ever happen again, personally.
No, because that was a moment in time where we weren't far away from really old-fashioned fishing tackle, and I remember being at a show when David, we walked round the NEC and Corder, Danny were in the middle of that island that they made, and they were new, and he's gone, they remind me of me. And the reason why I mentioned that is because Corder, marketing geniuses, brilliant at it, promoting the brand. David was one of the first to use marketing. David Preston. Yes, to promote fishing tackle. He used great names. He used, suggestions about fishing tackle, and he'd put ideas into your head, rods like Dream, and he was just good at it. He understood how people thought, and he delivered what they wanted, and it grew, and it were amazing. And Sonu were born, Coram were born first, so Brand, Sonu were born later on we had Avid, and it was just crazy. I just watched it grow from nothing to a massive powerhouse, and we had great times, trade shows, you know, drinking all that and selling fishing tackle, and because, as he said himself, when we were just packing up at the NAC Tackle and Gun Show, and I looked over and we were all laughing and joking because we were throwing the stand down, and I think it was Pure Fishing. They were all stood round getting a rollicking. It looked like they were having it, and I said, "What's going on there?" And Ricky went, "Winners have parties, losers have meetings. See you later." And I thought, yeah, we're winning here, aren't we?
Amazing.
And I looked over there, and this like old-fashioned dinosaur, which is Pure Fishing, were all stood round getting addressed and all like that, and we were like, "Whew."
High-fiving as you
driving back up
down
motorway on two wheels. You got your car on, doing a wheelie in your car because you've just smashed it, haven't you?
Yeah.
And it was like that. And of course, with that come all the other trappings of it all. And then it all went weird, and David wanted to expand the business, and him and Ricky went through a bit of a funny spell, and Ricky left and went to Fox, and that was massively weird.
Especially when you'd built such a relationship with Rick. It must have been a tricky little
he
thing.
was mortified, and so were we, because there wasn't anybody else there. It was just him and us, basically. And we were left with a woman called Sarah Phoenix, and it was at that moment I realised that if Ricky was capable of leaving what I thought was his job for life, then this wasn't permanent, because I'd thrown myself in. I'm all in. And
how far in are you now, Mick?
All in.
No,
all
I mean,
in.
and years-wise, how long into Preston are we now?
We're 12 years in or something like that.
A long time.
Yeah. And the money's there, in it, because of course
you're smashing it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
With the turnover's like that, and the commission's still flying. It's like the goose that laid the golden egg.
And you're still an agent.
Yes. And you know, it's vulgar to talk about money, but let me tell you something now, it's beyond your wildest dreams. And I think it's quite common amongst the trade, but it won't be common across the industry, that they don't have any agents anymore. No. Because nobody can afford them. But they had agents because they couldn't afford to pay salaries, cars, pensions, HR, holiday pay. So they used self-employed and just paid you the commissions. The little companies. Mick Slater's still got a copy of the first cheque of £7 for 2 months' commission. But
it also drives that energy and the want to do it that you've just explained, and the growth. All in. Yeah. Start at 6, finish at midnight. That drives that though as well. Sat in your office all day Saturday, ringing customers, sorting out paperwork, sorting out back orders. Everything else is just gone because this is a golden moment. It's an opportunity to put some meat on the bones. This is my one chance in life. This, you know, thick as a brick kid who can't pay attention to his schoolwork, who can repair a, you know, pump, but isn't really going to get rich off that. He's got this opportunity to put some meat on his bones and, you know, build a war chest, if it were. So let's get stuck in. But beyond that, and I mean this sincerely, Ricky built a team where it didn't matter. You just run through a brick wall. And that's how come I were there, because they'd identified I were a committed team player. And so we did. And then he left and it all went a bit weird, and we had 5 dark years, really messy, ups and downs. But we stuck through it, and not just because of the money, but because we couldn't see that. And it was like, well, it'll change, it'll swing back round. And next thing I know, I got a phone call. Have you seen the Daily Telegraph? Preston's for sale. And David had put it on the market. We talked about management buyout, because of course I'm a Yorkshireman, I'd saved all that money, and I was like, well, I'll chip in, we can buy the thing. But I don't think everybody had the appetite for that. And I think David were hoping that someone would pay a lot more than what we were willing to pay. And you were going to buy it off him with money.
Yeah, but he didn't mind, because I once said to him, are you comfortable with these cheques that I'm getting? He went, I'm hoping I could write you one for £1 million one day. He said, because I'll be keeping the other 9. You're only on 10%. He said, oh, well, oh yeah, good point. Crack on. See you later. And it's true, because he had that brain, which is why he's a successful entrepreneur. because he don't think small, he thinks big. And it helped me to think like that, because they train you, because it's like, well, what's going on here? This don't seem right. But you adjust, don't you? You evolve. You know, you're a caterpillar, then you're a chrysalis, and you become a bigger thing. And that's because it's who you mix with. Birds of a feather flock together, don't they? And they bring you on. And if you're interested and you're a person that's like I were when we were a kid, why you put your stick float like that? Well, I was like, why do we do that, Ricky? Why is this? Why is that? Well, can't we just change packaging? And no. And he'd talk to me, and I think we had this like connection that I were interested. And he told me, and I didn't realise I was learning tons at the time.
How invested into Preston were you? As in, you know, like, did you love the company? Was it a love?
I would get myself. I think one bloke threatened to store me head, and I said, "Well, no." I said, "Come to the trade show. I'll be on stand 32," because I wouldn't give him an account. So we're trying to protect another account, because Preston Innovations had values. They had proper old-fashioned values. They didn't just deal with anybody, and it was right. Everything was right, proper. You look after everybody. If you have got an old rod you don't want, you don't sell it to your mate. You either give it back to the firm or you give it to a shopkeeper. They were like, it were brilliant, because when people, I'd walk in the shop, they'd go, "Oi, you." And I go, "Oi, me what?" Because Preston were whiter than white. So that allowed me to throw all myself into something that I trusted them. And they trusted me, which allowed me, I'm as straight as they come. Right's right, wrong's wrong. Simple as that. And I can't stand people who are at it. And nobody at Preston were like that, especially Ricky and the other agents. They were all spot on. Charlie were a bit slippery, but he is a southerner. And but not wrong. And just he'd pull a stunt or two. And so I were all in, all 100% in.
So it's gone up for sale?
Yeah. Next thing I know, gets a letter from Sarah Oldham, which was the finance director. She's gone, "You needed at a meeting at the Holiday Inn in Telford, 9 o'clock Wednesday." I thought, right, this is it. Because of course it's what's going to happen. Got enough money to retire on, probably, but it's like I'm dead comfortable. Everything's great. I can go back and carry on selling tackle with our kid, which has continued in the background, because the old sale just carried on. And it's my brother. He got involved in the business, and
which is funny, because I remember working in tackle shops, and I remember Daz coming round with the van with Kamasan hooks and hook tyres, and he'd come in shop at Mosbury.
Yeah, brilliant.
You sure to them. Just come in, put them on pegs.
Oh no,
give me a bill.
He kept what started off as Mick Vials Wholesale, then became Viatech Limited, which is the company it still is today. He kept that alive, and that became his profession. And without it, we won't be where we are today, because he threw himself into that, because we've got the genes of our grandfathers and father, and that's what we do. We're all in. And if you shake his hand, and it stays shut. That's how we are.
Meeting, Holiday Inn.
Yeah, so I've walked in, and there's these two great big guys. One guy's a giant, and the other guy's a big, warm looking fella. And I've looked across, and there's this suit guy on the other side of the table, great big boardroom table, and 6 agents. We'd had a cup of coffee round at McDonald's before we went in, and I was voted spokesperson. Surprise, surprise. And I said, "What are we doing?" And they went, "Well, what do you think they're going to do?" I said, "No idea. Let them speak. So the guy was called Jeff Pontius, and the other one was called Silvano Berlusconi, I think. He was the finance officer, and the other one, Jeff Pontius, was the world vice president of Zebco US. Introduced himself, and he said, "I believe you guys are agents." He said, "I've got half a dozen questions I just want to talk to you about. This guy over here, he's the broker who's selling the business, and he's here representing David Preston." And I said, "Is David coming?" He went, "No, don't need him here. David's selling the business, and we're buying it, and we want to talk to you before we buy it." I thought, well, that's a bit... Oh, well, interesting.
All the agents?
6 agents in this room.
Okay.
And he's gone, he said, "I'll cut to the chase. If we buy this business, will you stay with the company?" And I thought, bingo. I've never played poker.
Were you thinking it were going to be if we buy this business, you're out?
It were like, we're going to have a word about the commission, is what I thought he was going to say. And he said, will you stay? And I...
No.
And lads have all gone like that to look at me, and I've gone, well, that depends on what you're going to do with it. Poker faced him. And he's gone, well, hey, my job is not a F-U-C-K-E up. And I've gone, right. He went, so if your wife wants to remodel the bathroom, you carry on. Nothing's going to change. And I went, good. Well, she got to ask us, because I just thought, I'll shut that down. That's done. He went, what do you think to the middle management at Preston Innovations? And I said, I didn't think we had any. He went, perfect. He said, and what do you think the growth potential is? And I said, with a bit of backing and a little bit of structure and the next level of investment, I think sky's the limit. And he went, great, let's have some more coffee. That meeting come to a bit of a close. They bought Preston Innovations. No, it changed. Well, it did a little bit.
And the company that bought it was?
The company that bought it was Zebco US. And they were part of, the name always escapes me. It's a family who basically, the fifth generation before them owned Coca-Cola.
You were talking massive business.
I'm talking old money. Old money. Going back to 1907, Wild West.
Right.
Columbus, Chicago, that area.
And it cool. And I find
amazing.
That cool.
It's
don't
amazing.
you, Toes? Like...
And that was a new chapter of learning, because they've looked around the room. Sarah Phoenix departed the business on the day they got it. And he stayed for a week after they bought it, and then he buggered off back to America, and it was Sarah Oldham who was left to run the business. And next thing I know, I was having a conversation with her. I was driving through middle of Sheffield. I think I was going to Billy Clark's, and she went, I've had Jeff on the phone, and he's had a couple of meetings, and he's been here, and he wants to know if you'd be interested in stepping up. I said, stepping up for what? She went, next level. He's like what you were saying, and I said, let me stop you right there. I said, I've got no intention of wearing a suit, and I've got no intention of sitting at the desk. I'm great at what I do. I can sell fishing tackle, I can sell sand Arabs, and not being funny, it probably pays less. And she went, I thought that's what you said, but he asked me to ask you. I went, great stuff. And that passed, and we bummed along a bit, and but it was hard because they were over there and we were here, and nobody knew who.
Did it change the business at all?
Yeah, because nobody knew who were in charge, and you got people jostling for position inside the business. The agents just carried on as they were, but of course we had massive input because we were still carrying on from the teachings of Ricky. So we were pushing that in, and it bummed along for a little while, and it come to a point where I think they realised they had to do something, and they said, what should we do? And I said, it's quite simple, just go and get Ricky. Get him back from Fox. That's all you've got to do. That's what this business needs. And he looked at me and he went, I'm coming over to England. And we went to the Big One show, and because I know Ricky were going to be there, he went, Jeff Pontius said, come down. Come down, we'll all have a cup of tea together. Cool that was, I thought, on his behalf. And I said to Ricky, you going to show? He's going, yeah. I said, I'm going to come down and have a look round. He went, oh, great, I'll see you there. Next thing, that was me, Ricky, Jeff Pontius. And Jeff said to me, how are we getting on at Preston, Mick? And I've gone, it'd be all right if he came back. And Ricky looked at me, and I went, it's right, innit? And Jeff went, come on, Ricky, we're going to have a cup of tea. Thanks, Mick. Sock on. Ricky run with that night. Hey, you, what you up to? I said, no, I'm just putting it well right, that's all. Just putting everything back to where it should be. Next thing I know, I'm called into another meeting back in Holiday Inn. Gets there, there's no other agents there. I've gone to reception. I've been asked to report to reception. Next thing, Sarah Oldham come in here. I've opened this door. Jeff Pontius, Ricky Theale, and the other director. And top and bottom of it was, he's coming back, but he's under duress from it's like legal handcuffs. So we'd like you to help and caretake for a little while. And I'm like, when am I going to do that? At this time, I'm fishing for England again. I'm up to my neck in it. And I've got an agency to run. And wholesale's grown a bit, and I have to do 4 hours on that. And he went, well, don't worry, we'll compensate you. I'm like, right. And I said, well, I'm probably going to lose commission because I'm going to spend too much. Well, you need to come down here and help Sarah and advise and be like a consultant to the business. Well, and I got enough on. And he went, we won't be taking no for an answer. And Ricky's like nodded at me. And I've gone sound. And they've gone and they've choked to figure out the air of what, 50 grand or something as a little bonus payment. And I'm like, I said, listen, I'll help, but it's not for that. If I can get this thing right, because it's massive and it's in a bit of a mess. And as I said earlier, when Ricky left and I realised that things could change that much, I then made a promise to myself that I wouldn't leave myself vulnerable. So I put a bit more emphasis with Darren to say, listen, we've got to start looking after ourselves, because David Preston's put the business up for sale. Ricky had left. I realised you're not family, or you're not shareholder.
And it might not be forever,
I realised it might not be forever. So I started putting a bit more effort into there.
Yeah.
And I said to them, you do realise that I have got designs on doing what I want to do, which was back before I got the phone call from Ricky, 16 years before. No, don't worry, you'll be fine. So, and I had 2 years of that. Then Ricky came back, and then he left again because it didn't work out. And in the meantime, I'd gone, get rid of that because it's annoying, because I was having to travel to Telford twice a week.
I can't remember Ricky going back.
Yeah, he went back. It was a short
I can't even
tenure.
remember that.
Yeah. And because they gave him a task, massive task. And then I got called into the office again with the new Jeff Pontius, which we call Steve Smiths, because Jeff Pontius had gone off to smoke his massive cigars. He'd open his big cigar case and go, which one of you guys is going to get it? And he'd have like an half-smoked Cuban cigar, like a great dog. Anyway, and they're like, back in office, we need you to do that consultancy. I haven't, not a chance. But this new guy, new world president of Zebco's gone, no, we need you. We can't do it. We need you to advise and help. And I'm like, you've got 6 months. Here's my ultimatum. I will help you for 6 months, but here's my offer. You've got to find 2 people to replace Ricky. So I've learned now, because I'm inside the business, I'm sitting in management meetings, I've got the profit and loss accounts in front of me, and I've learned, I've gone like that. My brain's, I'm all in. And I don't understand what the company needs. Because I'm not staying around forever, because if you're going to keep carrying off like this isn't for me. It's not what I started doing this for. I like selling fishing tackle, I like supping tea with Peter Rambo in Cleveland Angling Centre. I don't want to sit in management meetings. I don't need it. And of course it helped, because I didn't need.
Yeah.
I was financially secure. And, well, we're not taking no for an answer. I said, so get 2 people, you've got 6 months to sort it out. 18 months later. So, anyway, and I said to this Steve Smiths, listen, it's affecting me. It's too much. Everything else is too much. And you're not doing anything about it. So I'll be stuck here forever. And he went, well, why don't we just make you the gaffer? And I said, I'll tell you why, because I'll never beat gaffer, will I? Because you're not the gaffer either, are you? And he went, oh, it's a bit sharp. And I went, well, are you or not? And he went, no, I'm vice president. I said, who's president? I said, it's a bloke I'm never going to meet in it. He went, yeah, because they were a board of 120 family members who all got dividends of something like $20 million each a year, because their group was so big. They had investments in real estate all over the world. They were multi. Beyond, it's not, I don't even think there's a word for it.
You don't even think that happens in fishing, Mick?
No, but
it's unimaginable. People listening must be like, wow.
I could tell you another story about how because I delved into that and I wanted to know. So when I took the Americans out for dinner, every time they come down, can you take them out for dinner? Because they like listen to you and they like a pint with you, and we could entertain them. I learned about, well, why does a family buy a company like Preston Innovations? Well, that's because the unborn grandchildren also want a dividend. So if we just keep all taken out of the pot, there'll be no left. So they just keep topping up the pot with businesses and income and profit, so that little Lord Fauntleroy the 14th Junior can get his dividend and go skiing in Whistler. And when he's not on his yacht. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's another world, that, isn't it? It's another world.
Yeah, it's a long way from Rotherham, I can tell you.
Yeah, it is. But this, we're talking about Preston.
Yeah.
That sold
I know.
little pieces of
well,
plastic.
Can you imagine me,
fishing
can't you? Thinking, what on earth am I doing here? Sitting here talking to this guy here. And then I've gone, I'm done. At the end of this month, if you send me another cheque, I will refuse it. I'll send it back to you. And he said, I'm really impressed by your self-integrity. I said, because while ever I keep helping you, you're not going to progress. And this company needs more than this. It's a powerhouse and it needs to go to the next level. And me putting a sticking plaster over it is stopping you from limping, but it's not going to cure the disease, is it? You need to do more of it, better. A moment of like self-realisation. You want to do well. You want the company to do well because it's done me proud, hasn't it? And I don't want...
Done you very proud. Very proud.
Yes, exactly. So I've gone, I'm done. And he went, fair play to you, wrote me a love letter and sent me a limited edition reel and said, next time I'm in England, I'd love to come and have a pint with you, even if you're not with the business. And we left it there. It was great. And I went back to being an agent, but I helped Sarah anyway because I still did the same thing. She'd ring me every day and we'd talk and we became great friends. And I understood things because I'd been to China by then for my own business, and because of course I would then self-preservation because people keep buying and selling this place and people keep leaving and coming back, and I can't rely on these people to keep me safe, can I? Because they're just doing what they want to do. They're not doing they're not thinking about me. And I'd never been like that, but I realised that, if you give you all, you put yourself in jeopardy, don't you? And then next thing I know, they sold it, and they sold it to a company called Rather Outdoors, which were a newly formed company, which, guess what? All drank brandy and smoked cigars with the guy from the other firm, W.C. Bradley. The family was called.
The Coca-Cola family.
The W.C. Bradley people.
Yes.
Dined with Wrigley's, Mars, Schweppes people, and Lou's Outdoors, and all those highfalutin, rich, people from America. And they had an hedge fund. They whacked it all in, raised a few $100 million, bought Fox, and then bought Zebco. Massive buyout. And I think they bought this Zebco. They opened the box. Well, this is what we bought. It's great. Oh, what's this at bottom? It's called Preston Innovations. They had no idea what they'd even got. No. And so they've gone, I'll tell you what we're going to do with that. Fox, the people at Fox in the UK, who were then their European headquarters for the Bradley Group, they've gone, you can look after that. Of course, we're now here, aren't we? We're in England and there's people that we know about. And they've gone, really? Really? Is that how this company's structured? And they've got big plans to turn it into a multinational company, probably flip it, sell it, build it up, puff it up, as Jeff would say, because it's a certain guy that gets the haircut. That's what he used to say. and he was like, don't worry, it'll get you. And sell it on, blah, blah, blah. And they've gone, a Zoom call, because it was around COVID time. Mick, I can't remember, he was vice president of Rather Outdoors or whatever he was called. I won't mention him because it's unprofessional. And he's gone, you're in breach of your contract because you're a director of a firm who was in competition with us. And I went, right, okay, didn't sell. I'd had not heads up that this phone call was coming. I said, sound, what do you want to do? What do you want to do about that then? Well, along with the European agents law of 1991, basically we're going to pay you X amount of years commission, because that's compensation, as they call it, comp. And how does that look? It's a great big fat check. I'm like, well, that's enough to retire on for most people without everything. Anyway, and I don't want to sound like, smart.
Yeah, but this
is what happened.
Yeah.
This is what happened. And I've gone, okay, sound. And he went, and that's it basically. And if I'll send you a letter and you need to agree to it. Have you got any questions? I said, yeah, I have, yeah. I said, Preston Innovations sponsor Feeder Masters, and I've got people who work for Feeder Masters. And I've already got all the money for the tickets for them people who've put in. I said, are you going to honour it? Are you going to honour the sponsorship agreement? Feeder Masters, what's that? Because of course he's at iFlyer and he don't know.
Not got a clue.
I said, well, write it down. I need an answer on that. Secondly, I've also been getting a second salary in the last 2 years. I'd like compensation for that as well. I don't know what about that. I said, well, maybe you should have worked that out before you came on here. And he was going bright red because he's just gone, here's a cheque that nobody's going to refuse. And I'm like, yeah, but don't be rude because you've not considered things like Feeder Masters, which is dear to me. Forget that.
That's the fish. That's the fisherman. That's the
Because but I've got them. They're the people who I've said send me your 40 quid and I'll keep it over here and I'll pay you out in September. And on the basis that we've got a sponsor to pay for the overheads for running a competition that collects people's money and pays them back.
Yeah,
my moral compass is like that. Bang. And I've gone. Oh, and last thing is, I'll expect that you'll allow me to write my own letter to say goodbye to my loyal customers. I said, anyway, let me know and ring me back. So I got a letter off him and a couple of months of to-ing and fro-ing, and we arranged a date. I wrote a letter to everybody, thanked them for all the work they've been doing, and then I cracked on with what I was supposed to be doing in the first place before I got so rudely interrupted by Ricky Theale, making myself fishing tackle. So yeah, interesting journey.
Absolutely amazing. And I didn't know that. I've spent a lot of time with you, and I've never had it. I've never had that in the honesty and the...
That's reality, that's how it were.
What a great story. One thing, I'm going to have a little break in a second, so because I'm busting for a pee, I know you. One thing, you know, like when you're in the heat of it there and you're going, I'm busy, I'm up to me neck, we've not even touched on some of the other stuff you were doing at the time, which I want to do next.
Yeah.
Like, I can only think back to when you said I was this giddy kid looking out a window. You remind me of a border collie. Or you like, but when you were at that point where you're full and you're going and you're working and you're like, did that not fulfill what you were as a kid, what you were at Yorkshire Water, when you were doing the delivering maggots, it weren't enough for you. It's
never enough. Nothing's enough, is it? Because what happens is you expand your brain, you expand your character, you expand yourself. As I said earlier, and it was Ricky that said it to me, if you're not growing, Mick, what are you doing? Because that's how he saw it. That's how he saw business, and that is what business is. And I found myself in business, and because I'm a self-employed guy anyway here, and so you're negotiating with these people, and so you've grown yourself within that. The trouble with that is then that you're on a bigger plate, so it's not full, is it? So it's endless because the craving for fulfillment. You're kicking the ball further away from yourself all the time, which for some people is a disease. Being aware of it is the trick, because if you know that you're not fulfilled, that's how you control it. And you go, right, well, I'm never going to be fulfilled, so don't get upset about it. Just know that that's great, because you're never going to be bored, because you don't want to finish up like Wilf.
Talk to me about Wilf.
I'm an apprentice. I'm at Yorkshire Water, and it's Friday. Everybody finishes at 1:30 because that's what they do. And Wilf has been with Wilf's 60. I think he went past retirement age, and he'd been there for 50 years or something. Wilf. He were handyman, fitter's mate, blah blah blah. So we had a few sandwiches and a cup of tea for Wilf at tea break at 10 o'clock, and we've gone out back on job, out into thing, freezing cold. Come back in at 1:30 to get a shower, because you used to get showered off, get your overalls off, and Wilf was still stood in workshop. And me and my mate Andy McDermott's gone, what's up, Wilf? I thought we're finishing. Oh, we don't finish till 1:30, do we? Said, you finished at 10, we've all seen you off. Give your cards and had a whip round so you can go and buy a new spade for your allotment. Yeah, well, I'll just finish with you all, lads. And Wilf were dead within a month. Because he just gave up. Don't be like Wilf.
Never give up. Love it. Away from the trade, fishing, Preston Innovations, and we will come back onto it, I'm sure, before we finish. You had a massive thing happen fishing-wise after the conversation we've just had, what seems like the most busy period anyone could possibly have in their life. Tell us a little bit about that. I know it all came from one unexpected phone call. Can I call it?
Yeah, obviously the England feeder team chapter, let's call it, because it's like chapters, isn't it?
It is.
So in the middle of all that,
these could be an ouch for your book, couldn't they?
Absolutely. If anybody ever read a book these days, which they don't, they watch podcasts, don't they?
Apparently.
And so I think it must have been 2010. Phone had rung. I had spoke to Tommy briefly about this new discipline of world international fishing, that were they were going to have a feeder world championships, which sounded a bit odd at the time, and I'm like, oh yeah, sound. And Tommy and I had right from the beginning, I think I touched on it earlier, we had some kind of great relationship, and I respected him, and he knew that I were a trier, and so he said, I've got this thing coming up, and would you be interested in helping me? Is what he'd briefly chatted, and I'm like, oh, what is it? He said, well, I'm going to need an hand, and I'm like, yeah, I'll come and get you a lift. You have to let me know about it. And he's like, yeah, sound. And carried on selling all the fishing tackle. It was probably at a trade show or something like that. Anyway, one winter's night, I'm sat in my office at home writing all these orders out. So we used to write them out and send them by fax. Phone rings. Oh, Mick, it's Tommy. Oh, mate. Nice things, yeah, sound. Right. I've got a serious question for you. He said, I spoke to you about that World Feeder Championships thing. I said, yeah. He said, well, they've changed it. We're going to be a 4-man team. It's now a 5-man team. And, I asked you if you wanted to... Anyway, so I'll cut to chase. I want you to fish. I'm like, eh? I'd kind of kept going fishing during all this work. And I want to say, well, nearly 10 years, where I just played at it and went down again and, kept my hand in, because but there weren't time, because I was too busy focusing on selling all this fishing tackle. So I'm like, right, okay. He went, no, I know what you're thinking. You're a bit rusty. I said, I don't think it's rusty. I'm seized up. It's beyond rust. I'm laying up bottom of the seabed. I'm like Titanic, aren't I? I've got barnacles on me and all that. And he's gone, I know. He said, but I know by the time you finish listening to what I'm going to say, you'll have your engines on fire and you'll be ready to go. He said, get your rods out. You're going to have to do a lot of fishing quick. But I want you to be involved. I want you in the team. What do you reckon? And I did a very stupid thing, very dangerous thing. I said, can I ring you back? And he went, I beg your pardon? Because he's ringing me officially. It's not Tommy, my mate, he's the England manager. I said, I know, just bear with me. Give me 5 minutes. Go on then. So he's like, nobody does that to England manager. I put the phone down, run downstairs, and I said to the other half, right, I've got a proposition. I said, would you pack in work for me? Beg your pardon. I said, I ain't got time to discuss it. I'll pay you your salary. I need you to come and help me do all my paperwork. I need you to get me back. I need all my admin doing. I just need, would you do it? It's really important. I'll explain in a bit, but I've got 2 seconds. I cannot.
This is put the phone down, walk downstairs.
I've got a mobile phone in my hand, but I've cut him off because I don't want him to hear what I'm saying, and I don't know how to mute it because I'm an idiot, aren't I? And obviously when you've got a good relationship, you get of course I will. Is everything all right? I said, everything's great. Just don't worry, it's going to be fine. But providing you're comfortable with it. We're in it. We're in, aren't we? We're all in, aren't we? I'm like, you'll do for me. I'll be back in a minute. Runs back upstairs. Tommy's gone. Clock we're on. And I said, I know. I'm really sorry. I said, I'll be there. I said, are you sure? And he went, I'm 100% certain, because I know you'll get in. You'll you'll be all in, won't you? And I went, oh yeah, of course I will. He said, what were all that about? I said, I'll talk to you when I see you. And 2011, first World Championships, I told him what it were, and he was like, wow, that's ridiculous. But I knew I couldn't represent my country, more importantly, represent Tommy, who's gone, he's got wild card, hasn't he? He's gone bloke, he don't go fishing. But
what were the response to that, Mick? Were there any negativity?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Tommy had lost his plot, he's picking his mates, what on earth? Mick Vials don't even go fishing.
What did you think of that? How did you handle that?
I'd been working in public sector in England for quite a while. I realised that there were always going to be some comments, and Facebook weren't what it is today, but there were things like maggot drowning forum and stuff like that. He'll not mind me saying this, but Nathan Watson had gone, what on earth did you pick Mick Vials for? He don't even go fishing, does he? And me and him have spoke about that since. And he was like, we're only being... And I said, no, you were bang on. You were absolutely bang on. But I trusted Tommy. It was kind of funny. I was like, he's crackers, but I trust him because he's never let me down. He's always been in the right place. We had a relationship together at Preston, of course, and massive relationship. And so off we go. And so, yeah, there were loads and loads of negativity about who he picked and what he picked. And then after that, and he discussed it with me, he said, I'm thinking about Dean Barlow as like because obviously everybody's moved up. What he hadn't told me is that when he said, do you want to get involved, he were hoping that I was going to react and go, I'd like to fish. And I didn't, because I was focused on what I was doing. And I kind of got the, do you want to work or do you want to earn some money? Do you want to go fishing or do you want to earn some money? From Ricky, I'd got that in my mind. I'm like, no, I'm focused on this. This is my career. Fishing's not my career, this is my career. And I'm getting my buzz from fishing anyway by doing that. And he needs a new fifth man, which is now a sixth man. And he said, I'm thinking about taking Dean Barlow. And it were on a river, and he went, what do you think? I said, yeah, great call. But I'm like, and he said, and I'm going to ask Adam Wakeling to baitman type thing. Because Tommy's long-term planning. He's got it all set out, hasn't he?
Very clever gentleman.
Yeah, and so
Very
the team
clever.
he's got Steve Ringer, he's got Darren Cox, Steve Emmingray, himself to fish because that was allowed at the time, me, Dean, take his tattle, but you're not fishing before we go because Tommy's like, I need to get these five focused in the right direction.
Yeah.
Because he's an international veteran, and he knows what he's doing. He's been to all these world champs. And it's great because everybody went, well, how come Andy Findlay's not fishing? It's because when Tommy rang him, he went, I'm not interested in that kid, see you later. Which has been the debate of many a podcast about Jamie Hughes fishing for England.
Yeah.
And there
Don't
were other people I'm sure that he'd spot to who could have and should have. But he also knew that some people weren't they didn't have the right attitude. There's also another thing, let's make no mistake about this. Why don't you pick Fred Bloggs for England? Does he work at Yorkshire Water? How many days holidays does he get? Can he afford to pay for himself? Can he afford to take time off work? Can he just go out and spend whatever it costs to prepare himself? Has he got a vehicle worthy of driving across the country? There was one lad who really wanted to fish in the team. He didn't even have a driving licence. Imagine trying to fish for England without a driving licence. So he'd picked his men for a reason, and he later told me that he knew I would throw myself at it, and he needed somebody who understood him to lead a charge, not on the fishing, but on the culture of the team. And it's a really interesting scenario because I threw myself at this thing, and all in the wrong way. I went about it all the wrong way. And
what happened? You said Italy first
complete
year.
disaster, basically. Long story short, massive event, first World Championships, Preston Innovations are sponsoring it.
First ever feeder World Championship.
Yeah. Preston are sponsoring it. Guy came out, Ant Rogers came out from there. A couple of lads came out as well. Family came out. Everything And the crux of the matter is, and I've passed this advice on to other people after, younger people or inexperienced people who've gone on a World Club Champs, is I fished the event, I didn't fish my peg.
Okay.
I let the event overwhelm me. I let the scenario overwhelm me. I talked earlier about not being able to focus, and all the peripheral noise and all the buzz and all the stuff around had broken through, and I'd lost sight of what were happening. And ultimately, I was there in body, but I weren't there in mind. And my fishing brain was useless.
And did you realise that quickly after?
Immediately.
And what happened? What was the aftermath from
so
it?
I've come 12th. We had 3 of us came 12th on the first day. And
in your sections?
Yeah. And I was, so Darren Cox, Stephen Gray, Tommy was 5th, Steve, best, one of the best, if not the best, draws as usual and makes a good job of it. He never draws a good peg, apparently. And he won a silver medal. First day, Tommy's come to me, he's put his hand on my shoulder. I couldn't look at him. I'm gutted, but more importantly, ashamed. I've let me down, I've let my family down, I've let Tommy down massively, and I've let my country down because I've not done it. I've not done it right. And did I realise it? Yeah. It was 40 degrees there, and I put the shower on as cold as I could get it when I got into the room because I weren't fishing second day, and I probably going to get pneumonia because I stayed under that cold shower to try and bring me around to my senses and give myself a shake.
Really?
Yeah, I did, and it bounced back down to dinner. Like, right, lads, crack on, and Dean fished, which wasn't the plan, and because we've got 3 12s, we're nowhere. We're like 8th or 10th or something. So Tommy, like a good un, has gone, right, Dean, I'll let you have a fish because it'll do you good.
Experience.
Do you good. We're not winning now. Right, Steve, go and win World Champs. So he draws a whatever again it were. And the story is famous, he's told the story. And he did what he does best, which is he won a silver medal. And Dean struggled, some daft like 15th, 18th, I don't know where he were. And that's because we didn't know what we were doing. We had no answers because we're not practiced right, because it just we're all wrong. But Tommy's like, hey, well, I didn't expect us to go and win first time. It's a long-term project. And the next 12 months, I'll never forget, Preston Innovations might as well not existed. My family might as well not existed.
Why?
The wholesale might have not existed. The business.
What did you do?
I threw myself at it.
How? What steps did you take?
Preparation, dedication and application. They're the only 3 things you need when you want to try and win at anything. And that meant focusing, concentrating on what I was doing, putting all my attention in. So that means every morning when you wake up, you're thinking about fishing, you watch it, whether you're talking to people, you're working on your kit, you are absolving yourself into the world of fishing and picking your matches, making sure that, like, I've put my pole back at garage, I'm not going on any matches that it's involved in a float with feeder fishing. I'm at it. And September of that year, this one in July, he's gone, I'm holding an England trial because I think the Angler Trust wanted an England trial. I don't know if that's because we'd made a mess of it and he picked all his mates.
And they were under some pressure from the public.
I think so. Possibly.
Why? You can see it happening.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it?
That's right. And
was there some of that about the result? Was there some throwback, any negativity?
Yeah, loads of it. No more than normal, Matt. They say that English society is not very good at championing its own people. I just think it's human nature, innit? Because spectators are great, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's why I can't stand football.
Why?
How can you shout from top of stadium and to a bloke who's down there who don't even know you're there? And yeah, they say that supporters influence the game. No, well, how can you get so about something you can't control?
I don't get it.
But it's just the nature of people. So take it with a pinch of salt. Because ultimately, when it comes down to it, it's all about you and what you're doing.
As
Because
the
you've got
player,
to fish your peg, haven't you?
as the angler.
You're not going to even worry about what's going on for the sex. You've got to fish your peg. So he's having an England trial. The venue is Hattick gravel pits, and he set a rule because he wants to sort the wheat out from the chaff. He's going to weed out the weaklings, and he invited, I don't know, 25, 30 people. People asked, and he did it, and it was Hattick gravel pits. And basically, he said, "I'm going to get people," because he was thinking that the venue of the following year could be long distance. And you've got to be able to cast 100 metres. If you can't cast 100 metres, don't turn up. Because that's what Tom is like.
I don't think I've ever cast 100 metres.
No, I hadn't.
Challenge, and you're talking 12 years ago.
I hadn't.
15, 13 years ago, yeah.
But what a great thing then to go, right, well, let's see our committed jar. And off we went to Hattick gravel pits, got the right rods. There were Dutch Masters, and bought some massive reels, a spot to Steve and Shimano. And we got them all done, and we were fishing braid and finishing braid direct, and we went practicing with Steve Emgray and Darren Cox and Adam Wakelin, and we went there, and yeah, you could get 70 metres and 80 metres. It was a bit of a struggle with a ground bait feeder. I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a method or a bomb. And it's not good just getting there. It needs to be in the right direction and land in the same place. And when it lands, you need to be able to hit your clip so that your hook then flicks over and you're fishing. And so much so that I couldn't always get, because I still had to keep my day job going. So I'd graft all day, and then at night time I'd go down to the local canal at Kilnest, where you can park outside at road and fish and cast down the canal, because it's only about 30 metres wide. And I'd do that in dark, because I needed to get to 100 metres, because I weren't going to let myself down again. And I went practising, and Tommy knew I'd been practising because you had to get a key. And because he's cool like that, and there were only about 3 or 4 people asked for a key, and I'll never forget the draw in the morning. Somebody were at wrong car park, which he knew then that they'd not been practicing. It was great, this trial. I'd got Alex Bourne's one side and Adam Runa the other.
Wow.
And Alex can cast for fun, and despite his ambidextrous, cack-handed, so can Adam, both great fishermen, and.
Both good at casting and all.
And I put loads of time in, and he put an England man, he put me right in the boiling pot, because he's gone, there you go. And he put every England man, and he put the people who fancied themselves, if you like, or were good contenders, or should be, put them either side of us. So he put us under pressure and them under pressure. And we were all in full regalia. He's gone, I want everybody in England kit. Oh, he teed us up a tree. And they reckon that there were 2 rods broke in the first 5 minutes. There were spools of braid in big bird's nests on the side of the thing. People couldn't get past 70 metres. They're not practiced. One lad, who I won't mention, who was later fished for England, only had a spool of 110 metre braid on his reel. So I don't know how he got there, but he just said he was accurate at 80 metres. And
so he only had 110 metres of braid
yeah,
on his
because it came on that spool, yeah. So, and you're not chucking 100 metres with 110 metres spool of braid, or 100 metre spool of braid. And I fished an absolute blinder, and I caught a bream of, I think it was £10 too, and I caught 2 other bream, one on my 70 metre line, which he said you could have a 70 metre line, and I had the ice weight in the trial, and I was ready then.
Incredible.
And I put it straight. I made it my life's ambition, because I said, Tommy had said to me, I will give you another chance, but you must not, you've only got one more chance, that's it. And I thought, right, I'm definitely not going to let him down. And then we went to the Ghent rowing course, the place where I think you've won gold.
Belgium.
Personally. Yep. And smashed it, and did really well in practice, and felt good, and earned the respect of the team. We had there was a bronze medal there, I think, and I drew middle section. It was really tough, but I took out the Dutch angler on the first day, and it was just good.
Powerful performance.
Yeah, and we're there.
Got a medal.
Yeah.
Second year ever, feeder world champs.
Yeah, and felt like I was fishing. And then so you start then to repair everything. Then we went to South Africa, That was great, really interesting. Took out the South African next day, Louis, first day. He fell apart, cracked off. His manager had to drag him off his box, his head had gone. Because I'm staring at him and a bit like, got one. All right. Because you're into it. And I can see Tommy, and every time I net a fish, he's on next section. And that were good. And we were second on first day. We were only a point behind, and we slipped and finished third there. So we're on a journey, aren't we?
But you've got another medal in South Africa.
Yeah. And then we're off to Ireland. And as you would imagine, you should win it. They should win it. It's with this, you know how to catch roach and casters and Irish style. We're not like that. We're bloodworm job at the end. And this story's been told a million times, but a few things that need mentioning. Tommy, like a good one, because he's horses for courses, got Will Freeman's on the scene, impressed him on the trial. He got involved, him and Wayne Bartholomew got involved. Will was all in. He's been around the job. Tommy said, do you want to get involved? Because you can see that he's an intentional person, somebody who's going to apply himself. And basically, he'd spent a lot of time in Ireland, and he put us on it. He got us right on the method. This amount of worms, hold back, not too many casters. This is how you strike these bites on and wind this back in every movement, and just had it spot on. And Tommy rumbled the depth that we needed to be at, and we caught roach, bream and hybrids, and we had it tapped.
All the species, because you found the right depth.
Yeah, and a very important, absolutely. The Irish, if you look at the records, you'll see that the Irish caught 455 million fish, the fish count. They were second. The Dutch caught 82 fish between them in 2 days. They were third because they just fished for bream.
So
and
one's fished here, one's fished out there.
Yeah, and we've had 500 fish down the middle. We'd have won it on weight and won it on point. We didn't win it on points. We absolutely paralysed it. Will Freeman instrumental in that. Tommy clocked it because he's just watching. It was a bad time. Tommy lost his father just before that, and he stepped down and didn't fish. And Dean fished, Adam, myself, Phil Ringer, Steve Ringer, Adam Wakeland, that is. And I just want to go back to that thing about get yourself right, because ultimately, when you're aware of yourself and you're responsible, which you should be, shouldn't you, if you're wearing an England shirt?
Massively.
For me, that meant there can't be any self-doubt, because I'd experienced that in first year, and I promised Tommy I wouldn't pull the shirt on or accept a shirt unless I knew that I was capable of doing my job. And in the practice, I'll never forget, I was catching fish, and Tommy's brought somebody else down, got him off his box and gone, look at him, how calm he is. Look, it's tip, and you just dead calm, which makes you more efficient, faster. And that resonated with me, because I'm like, I'm in control of myself here. A massive contrast to where I were in 2011. So I'm happy. We goes into day one, we was it. I won my first World Championship section, day one. I had Tony Kersley.
Know Tony very well.
Tony.
Love the bloke.
Fished a great match, caught loads of fish, and we paralysed it. And
this is Enniscara, isn't it? For those listening who might not know, it's
2014, yeah. The fourth World Championships, yeah. And same again, lads, tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. But of course, Tommy's like, calm down, it's only half time. Famous, he's famous for that. I mean, for all his fierceness and his bristly, is a leader, a massive leader. And I'm happy to follow a bloke like that all day long. I can tell it where you talk about Tommy that... I said I'd touch on it. When he took over the captaincy at Barnsley from Dick Clegg, I'll never forget this as long as I live. We're in a meeting, we're in Cocking, the world's best anglers are surrounding, and Tommy, like a good un, has sat down and he went, first of all, everybody knows that I'm taking over as captain, Dick's resigning. First of all, round of applause for Dick Clegg, the finest captain this team's ever had, and we've all applauded him. He went, right, I'm in charge now. Like that? Yeah. And he went, and what I say goes. And if you don't like it, there's the door. And he meant it. And he went, I'm going to the toilet, and if you're not here when I come back, I'll know that we know where we stand. Come back, right, start the meeting. That's the bloke I'm talking about. So how can you not follow a guy like that? So he's gone, calm down, it's only half time. Out we goes the next day. And I think, cut a long story short, Glenn's come up, Glenn Lawrence, he's got radio on, he went, Tommy's on radio. And I've heard him say, team, it's in the bag. The team medal is in the bag.
Gold.
Steve and Mick, yeah. And Glenn's gone, yeah, he's listening. He went, let's have some extra medals.
Wow. Incredible. Making my hair stick up on my arms.
I know. And here's a great story. I didn't really have any moves, and I was catching well. And sun come out, it went a bit flat, and I was catching skimmers, and they backed off. And we'd got this like routine, and I'm like robotic, because we're just catching fish. We've done it on first day, we've been doing it all week, and it's great. And I'm like, it'd be great, just carry on as I am. I'll win section. About an hour to go, they've gone, Frenchman, a few pegs down, just had a bream fishing long. I'm like, yeah, it'll be all right. I'm miles in front. They're going miles in front, because it's all positivity, innit? And in last half an hour, when Glenn's like going, you've got the green light to power up, well, I can't, because I'm just fishing what I'm doing. I can't start a new line. This is what we're doing. And I came second in my section to a Frenchman, Philippe Falop, whatever his name is. Christophe Catherine, I think it were.
Yeah.
But I'm happy now. I've got a first and a second. And all I want to know is if we've won as a team. That's all, because we haven't won a gold medal, have we?
No. 2 medals in the last 2 years, but gold's what you need.
Absolutely.
You're the team everyone's watching at this World Champs.
Yeah, and we're all under pressure because it's in Ireland, and loads of Englishmen are watching. They've all come overseas.
And there's obviously the pressure of all the comments from
past. Yeah.
2011, Italy. All them comments. You're putting all that right now. It's riding on this.
And it's not just a fluke, is it? Because you've worked towards it. Medal. It's not night time to win. Drive the nail home. Next thing I know, Tommy's come down. He just run down to me. I think he picked me up. That's how emotional it were. Swung me round, and loads of tears, loads of laughter, punching air. We've won. And you know what it's like on the World Champs. Might take ages to get your gear packed up. It's come on, get packed up. Family's there, mum's there, dad's there, everybody's there. Missus is there. Everybody's loving life.
Incredible moment.
We get back to Fountain House Breeder. Tommy's gone.
That's where you're staying. That's your digs.
Tommy's cool as they come. Get ready. Get geared. Get that gaddy sorted out. Get your tackle packed away. Get dressed. I want everybody stood here at 1 minute to 6. We're going to banquet. Turn back into Sergeant Major, because that's what he is. He's a leader, and he's leading this gang of people who need corralling, because we're just a load of loonies, aren't we, fishermen? And we've both gone to bedroom at the same time, so we're sharing rooms. It's shut door, and we've just looked at each other, burst into tears and laughter, and we've just embraced each other, and we're rolling about, and we fell on the floor, and he's laughing, and he's like punching me in the chest and going, "You'll do for me.
We've done it.
You'll do for me," he said. "We've come a long way, young'un." I said, "Not without you, pal." Amazing. And we shared a moment that I'll never forget. And Steve Ringer had won World Championships. Felix Schumann, who we'd never heard of, had been down at Garden Centre, caught 2 roach every chuck in, I think. We won hook. And I settled into 3rd spot.
So you got an individual medal as well?
Yeah. The clanking noise of 2 medals is amazing. We were all as drunk as lords. There were a banquet, Irish style, live band playing. Everybody were upside down. We're all in a coach coming back, bus full, because everybody were there. Adam Rooney were there.
Yeah.
The girls were there. It was just a massive part. The woman who owned the guest house were drunk upside down at back seat. We were all drunk as lords. And amazing, yeah. And then you have to do it all again, don't you?
What did that win do for you?
It settled you down.
And compared to the response that you got in 2011 in Italy, what response did you get from that?
Well, everybody had amnesia, didn't they? They'd all forgotten. That's it.
This is a thing like that, ain't they?
No, that's it. That's all, that's all I've got to say on it.
Yeah.
They all of a sudden developed amnesia. But I won't hold that against them. They're all human, aren't they?
Of course they are. Of course they are.
Bless them.
What came next? Because you're here.
Yeah.
You're top of the world. You're not getting any higher.
I think...
What comes after that?
We're feeder fishing then, aren't we? I think it was around about that time that the feeder masters thing were born. So I wanted all that, what we were doing, back in the UK. And I think it was earlier that year, that brainwave. And so that's a little embryo of an idea that's kicking off. And let's just
obviously you created Feeder Masters. That's yours.
Yeah. Me and my brother own Feeder Masters. It has to be a limited company because it's got a trademark and there's people's money involved, so we have to have insurance and bank accounts and all the rest of it. And Feeder Masters is part of the Viatec Limited portfolio of myself and Darren. Because I want to make feeder fishing my life. I'm all in now.
You're the most in.
I'm all in. There's nobody more invested. But we have to go. And during that time, there were talk about the next year we're going to be Holland, and we'd been a couple of times to this place called Gentenhausen Canal. 2015, it's Gentenhausen Canal. I think other people have spoke about it. Adam Wakely mentioned on his podcast. Hardest place you've ever fished in your life. 450,000 fathoms deep. You know, you can have a cup of tea while your feeder's sinking.
Forgot to put bottom in.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Like that picture sums it up, Mick.
Yeah, there were a few big boats on it. That boat, the little boat at the front, is as big as what you see on any English river, and the one behind it stretched, I think it was about 9 or 10 pegs long. And when that came, the boat came, the water left. How many rods are set up there? 2 landing handles as well.
Sucked all the water out. Just
yeah,
gone.
Yeah, all gone. Incredible.
What a place! What a venue!
Yeah. And it were hard, but we'd worked hard at it. We'd been several times because that's what we did with Tommy. He said, you don't go on holiday, you don't go float fishing, you go feeder fishing. You're all in. Suits me because I'm all in, aren't I? You'd walk there, wouldn't you, if you had to?
Pressure on. You've won last year.
Yeah.
You've had a medal every year other than the first now.
Yeah. What he said was don't draw an E section. Yeah, E5.
How did it go?
There weren't a lot caught. You could catch an odd grumbling. It were rock hard. And
what's a grumbling?
Like a little bullhead type thing. And I think the lad to my left had one. I don't think the lad to my right caught anything. And I had 2 roach, 2 skimmers. I don't know if I had a perch. And I had a Doris, which is they reckon it's a Danubian roach, just this massive eyed looking thing. And I don't want to sound like a prat, but I'd walked the section. In fact, I won the match. 3 kilos something or other.
Won the whole match, first day.
You start to think you're all right at feeder fishing, don't you? That's what happens.
Well, you've won the world
first
champs.
A second.
Yeah.
And then a first 3 matches on bounce, and you're like, yeah, at least we're not flunking like we were in Italy.
And how's the team doing after day one?
We're winning. But it's tight because the split sections, so you can't get the extra because there's that many teams in it. They have to split them in half. So it all depends on where you draw, and everybody knows about the international rules by now that it's not straightforward. And we're going into second day, and I've got this method where I'm catching long. I can catch these fish.
What's the method? Line. What's the fishing? What's the key?
So basically, it's making sure that you pack your feeder right. I was dead proud because I used a feeder that I'd developed and brought to the market myself, and by pure coincidence, it was perfect feeder for that match. In fact, we sold like 40,000 feeders off the back of that.
They the zipplers?
Yeah.
I remember them.
And it was so deep, you needed the weight, but they protected your ground bait, and you could make your ground bait nice and damp, get it to the bottom. So I'd feed at the start, a little bit of joker, quite a coarse mix, put a bit of bait down there, and then it was just basically a case of keeping your bait tight in your feeder because you the fish could not come off the bottom. It was 40, 45 foot deep or something. And I'd found in previous visits there and done well at it that right at the bottom of the shelf there were like a clay bit, and you could get the clay on your bomb and you knew you were on a nice clean hard surface.
You'd come back with clay on the bomb?
On your bomb when you plumbed up. And if you dragged it like that, you come back with like yellow clay on it. And that were right at the bottom of the rocks, past a little bit of detritus and the silt off the bottom of the shelf were like 25 metres long. You had to get to 30 metres to get past it.
It's rugged, isn't it?
Yeah, now
very rugged.
Depending which section you were on, depending on how far you had to cast to get onto this flat plateau. So the bottom of this canal, it's all man-made, of course, is like a billiard table. So you want to be just past far shelf. It's a common thing of fishing in it, just onto hard bait. And you'd fish there, and you had to be dead patient and be ready, and you'd get your bite in no time, because of course I think the fish were up off the bottom. Well, they're going to be, aren't they? They could be 10 foot off bottom, still be near bottom, couldn't they? 45 foot. And they'd follow your feeder down, but you had to make sure it was packed right, so they couldn't feed without taking you up there. And that's how you caught. We also had a short line that was, other lads were really good at that. Second day, I'm in C-section, it were really tough, but I'm like, they'll catch an odd roach. I didn't think there were any bream or the trick fish or skimmers in this area. I think I was in C-section, and the long line didn't go, which were a rarity for me. It's like, So I've dropped onto my short line, rod's gone round, art's in mouth. Bear in mind, I've won with 3 kilo 700 the day before. So you're not looking for a bite.
You've not had a bite so far though, day 2?
No.
Not had a bite,
I had a shimmer that I thought might have been a grumbling, but it weren't. It was just me hallucinating. So it's tough stuff, innit? It's like Mexamania. It's gone round. I've caught a bream. Played it like the crown jewels, but you've got to pull at them because there's rocks, and I've netted it. I've had another tow in at some stage. Sorry, I've got that bream. In between that, and this is a really important thing to say, Tommy's come to me and he's gone, how you getting on? I said, bream, how big is it? 2.5 pound. 2 and a bit pound. Awesome. Right. He's got his hand, I'm back on my long line because I'm resting my short line. He's gone, your match has changed. Bear in mind, he's gone, I think you win this section, but you could be second. So he's got, team's doing really well. You're winning your section on back of a section win. But your match has changed. I said, right, what do you want? He went, don't chuck back out there. I need a bream from you. A roach is not enough. Like, why? He went, because there's a bloke up there who might have the same weight as you. And it might only be a difference between a roach. So I need you to catch me a bream because the lads are doing well, but you're doing really well. So I don't want a second. I want to keep a win. You're winning, but it needs to be a win. So I need a bream. Catch me a bream.
So he's talking, it's going to be this close at the end.
Yes.
Essentially.
So if you catch me a fish, I don't want you to lose by 10 grams. I want you to nail it home. What a manager. Because he's going, you could be winning world championships. But that don't matter. He couldn't care less. I love him for that. Catch me a bream. And I'm like, great stuff. I've had one dragging note there. Could have been a liner. There were some big perch there. There was some massive mullet knocking about. Anyway, long story short, they reckon it's well, you've heard all the stories. Steve had a gripper, Adam Wakeland had a gripper, Dean got this fished up but got it out, and everybody, it's like real tight, tough. And Tommy's come down and he's looking at me, and I've turned the shout of town, I'm going like, I ain't caught another fish. And I'm panicking, I've let team down. Because he's gone, you'll be second at worst, you'll be second.
You've got one bream in your keep now.
That's it, that's all I've got. Blank to either side. So I've gone,
match,
and he's come straight down to me, and he's put his arms around me, and I went, I'm really sorry, I didn't catch one. And he said, don't matter, it's all right. How are we doing? He went, I don't know yet, it's too tight. And I went, I'm really sorry I've let you down. He went, you haven't let nobody down, you've got bream in your net, nobody's caught out. But he's given me a job to do, and that's my job. And he's up bank, on phone, and walkie-talkies and all that, and I've just seen him, and we've won. We're half a point.
What did he do?
He just went, no, it's him and my dad were dancing around like. And my dad's had a great time, hasn't he? He's first day, I netted this great big dory. So I've looked round, him and Will Freeman, leant against the lamppost with an ice cream, just doing that. As us, like they're having a walk in park, aren't they? Towing my bag out, trying to win world championships for England. And so we won. And that's amazing. And as if by magic, I were third. I had 3 points, same as I had that year before. Jose Evangelista won it with 3 points. Lad who come second had 3 points. I had 3 points. Phil Ringer had 3 points. Steve had 3 points. There were 7 people on 3 points. And I was the third highest weight. The 2 lads that beat me were in A section, which fished its nuts off the second day, and they overtook me on weight.
Yeah.
So Frenchman's done me up first year. But it don't matter, we've got gold, haven't we?
Double medal for yourself again.
We've got what we come for. And but it were a real strange experience because that night we've gone to banquet and all that, and it just weren't the same.
What do you mean?
Well, it's like you're never going to recreate your first gold, are you?
No, it's impossible to.
It
was your first one.
It were good, but you're like, right, is this like rinse and repeat? Is this what it is? Because we've got the hang of this feeder fishing. I've worked every single inch of my life I've put into it. And you get your reward. But you go, well, anything less wouldn't have been any good, would it? Because, of course, that's what I've come for. I've come to win England feeder team gold medal. We've won it. So if it were second, we've failed, haven't we? Because when you put that much effort in, you're only doing it to win. Because that's the born to win mentality of Tommy Pickering. Nobody remembers second, is what my dad told me when I was younger. And so I'm not interested in second. We just want to win. That's all we want to do. But it didn't feel the same as it had done the year before, and that was a bit of a weird moment for me. Anyway, I put it to one side because I thought maybe I'm just in a funny mood. Maybe the emotions, because it didn't come easy, it come hard, but it didn't come as hard as what the first one had come. And I think it was the effort versus reward ratio from the year before. And then you put the same amount of effort in and get the reward again. And you go, well, that's what you're going to do. And it's just going to be like this for the rest of your life.
Interesting to hear that.
So then we went to Serbia the year after. And of course, what I'd not considered, which Tommy were already on with, is nobody had ever done a hat trick as an England team. So we went to Serbia. We practiced. And we fished the European champs there. I think I won my section and was second in that. Counting bites. The fish didn't actually look at my tip. I just counted. Lifted up and there were a fish on it.
You never saw a bite?
No.
What fish?
Little skimmers and little roach light on single bloodworm.
Why aren't you seeing the bites off them? What's
because
that all about?
Single bloodworm, they were just holding it. And puffing it back out, really light hooks. It didn't finish up like that on the day. Come the World Championships, because this really, But I learnt loads and it were great. And when we went back and first day, 2016, we're on for hat trick. Tommy's got us all keyed up. We had 4 section winners and a 5th. I've won my section.
That's ridiculous.
I know. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So I'm expecting probably to come second day after, aren't I? So we've gone into the second day and Tommy's like, this is it. It's hat trick.
I don't think any England team have ever done it, have they? Ever?
No.
Still haven't?
No.
This is probably the closest that there's...
I think so, yeah. Yeah. And top and bottom of it was, we were winning with 9 points. But the Germans were close behind on 11.5 or 11 or something like that. And I think we dismissed them because we were like, well, you can't do any better than winning, can you? And we had a bit of a bear peg where he come 5th and we'll put it right tomorrow. So we'll just get 5 section wins. Because we've got it, catching these catfish. Catfish had other ideas. They'd all got a full belly. They were nowhere to be seen.
What, the second day?
Thanks, lads. Arrivederci. And I'll never forget, Tommy's come down, he's gone, how you getting? I went, I'm up shit creek without a paddle. I'm stuck because we've got this method and he's gone like that, pulled me bait brolly back to have a look, and I've gone, it's already in. And we had a little bag of lime to separate our joker. I've already got that in my mix to loosen up this lovely catfish sticky ground bait that we've got that only catches catfish. And all these skimmers that the Germans were catching, toast and custards, 2 pegs up, having a great day. Because she's puffing in a bit of brown chrome and catching these skimmers on drop, and I've got this clag for these, and we've completely misjudged it. And I've caught a skimmer, but I can't build my peg.
You've not got the right ground bait, the right mix.
Yeah, because we've oofed that into grass before we've gone to his pegs, because it were like, do we need this second mix? No, because we're born to win, aren't we? We're just going to drive this nail home, and you don't do that by messing. You don't do that by covering your back. You hit the arm, you hit the nail on the head, you go wallop. You have a firm winning method, Tommy Pickering style. And basically just died on your peg. He's gone up to full ringer. He's in the same situation. Steve were up at top. Him and the German lad were catching in. They managed to catch some skimmers because they were a bit of an area. And Adam caught a load of F1s. Really unlucky that day because he had 2 section wins and didn't get a medal, which is unheard of.
Yeah, in any world championship.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We spoke about that.
I think I was 7th and Phil were 8th in his sections, and we finished up 2nd.
How far off?
Easy to win.
Could have won. Could have
Easy
been
to
at
win.
trick.
Just need a couple of points off me and Phil and Dean, I think. Yeah, the hat trick was there. We left it on the bank. But then you've got to start again, haven't you? I'll never forget, massive thunderstorm, as they have in these countries. We're packing up, all my tackles full of water. We've hoofed it into this van that Tommy's driving. He's picked Steve up, then he's picked Phil up. He's not Spock. He's not Spock to anybody.
Silence.
I've chucked my gear in van. I've shut door, and he nearly lifted the roof. He was screaming.
What did he say?
Well, he's got Steve Ringer, Phil Ringer, and Mick Vials. I'm close to him. We know how good these two are. And he's let off steam, and he's just gone, what the effing hell? How on earth can you two come 7th and 8th? It's impossible. Because he's fuming. He's fuming with us as a team, including himself. Because he knows we've not done it right. We've not done it right. And
It was there.
We've
That was
missed
there.
a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, never to be repeated again. Ailey's Comet comes around more often. And it's gone. And we got a silver medal, and we went into the banquet. Everybody had it tucked in the shirts because nobody dare walk round with it swinging from the neck like they were proud of it, because they knew that Tommy, and sure enough, Tommy didn't have his medal on. It was shoved in his pocket. And that were so that were 3 years of crazy stuff. You've come away with a silver medal, but it's not good, is it? Because you've just had 2 golds. And that moment, I got that thing back.
You've not just had 2 golds, you've had 4 medals in 2 years as well. And now you've got a silver and
yeah,
with
so
a chance
it's 5
to win.
medals in 3 years. So going back to what I said, I've got it back now, haven't I? Because we've just lost. And I got that, you don't just rock up and get a gold medal. Because you need to get it right. No matter how good you are, you need to get it right. And massive lesson that were. And then 2017, we went to Portugal. That were Cabassau. Really hard work. We a bit of a mess of they were bleak to be caught, but we thought we'd got it cracked, and we didn't want to show the method, and we didn't really practice it enough. And we're fishing for bleak, and I'll never forget it. Glenn's like, worst bleak angler up match. You can't. I didn't have it right, because they were down at bottom, and we'd only got this thing. And then Tommy come and, right, calm down. Can you see any bleak? No, I can't see any. Right, just feed for me for 10 minutes. I'm going to stand at the top of the bank, and we're feeding with this feed and clouding thing up. And he said, I've just seen one flash. And I went, so we were catching them. I had a close face reel on, underhanding a slow sinking feeder that's not allowed anymore. And I caught, he's gone, you've had 63 in that hour, smashing. But there were a period of time where you'd go in at bleak stop feeding, which meant the carp and barbel fed, and I could catch them because I'm a patient angler, and you had to chuck in and put your rod down and know it was going to go round.
Confidence.
Yeah, and I've got my eye out, I've got everybody looking. Jumbo, South African lad, 2 pegs downs, hooked a carp. Before he's landed it, I've chucked my bleak rod up bank, picked me sticky mag. I'm in, 2 chucks, put it in rest, It's creek round. I've hooked a barbel. Excuse me. I think I caught 3 barbel on sticky mag feeder. I was next peg. So he's a world champion from South Africa, and I've got Yerks Dirkinson, who's a world champion, other side of this tree.
What a lineup.
I've gone 1, 2, 3 barbel. Thanks very much. Stick your bleak where the sun don't shine. Second hit section, beat by a Romanian kid, other end of section. Gets back, we're 7th, 8th, something like that. We've had a nightmare. Dean had not made the team. It was the first time that Rob Button fished. He'd had his peg covered in weed. The whole match was a bit of a disaster. So he stepped back down, Tommy dropped him and put Dean back in. And Phil, I think, had won his section. I think Phil might have won his section and I was second. And he'd said to us, right, team's lost, bit like the 2014. One of you two, fetch some medals back. Try and rescue something. And I went outside of Cathal Hughes, great day. We still laugh about it now. And I said to Tommy, am I setting a bleak rod up? He went, it's your match, you fish it.
So the teams, you're fishing for an individual medal second day?
Yeah.
And how did it go?
Yeah, one section.
Individual medal?
Second. I thought, I didn't, everybody thought I'd won. Thomas Walter, straight in box, someone at the time, and he said, I just want to shake the hand of a fellow world champion. I went, whoa. And he went, you've walked this section. I had 10 kilos. It were just a whitewash. And they're all congratulating me. And I'm like, everybody just relax. My dad's disappeared because he's like, I don't want to know.
Yeah, he can't
Family's gone. So I'm packing away. Next thing I come down and Tommy's gone. The Romanian kid that we didn't know about has won his section both days. We think he's second. And I was second. World Championships, and we come 7th, and that were a really hollow moment because when you sat at the banquet with one medal between you, it's no fun.
Not the same.
It's no fun.
No.
And we'd had success as a team, and individual success is a byproduct of a great team.
How did you treat the individual results, Mick? Because you've had 3 individual medals there, 2 bronze and a silver in 4 years. Did you ever want to win the world champs individually? Was that in you? It's a big thing for a lot of anglers.
No, that's not what I went for, did I? If you think about the call up, I didn't work my way through my fishing career to fish for England. I gave that up and went to be a sales agent, got me kicked from that. Tommy's then parachuted me in and gone, we need to win gold medals as a team. No, because ultimately it's a team match, isn't it? It's a 2-day team match. And most of the medals, and the ones that I've won, Will Freeman, I said, if I can cut this medal in half, I'll get it to you. Because I think I got me gold and me bronze in Ireland because of him. I thought I earned the medal in... and again in 2015, but I didn't have an opportunity to win. But the team won. It was great. And then in 16, we lost as a team, and nobody cared who'd won. And that's the reality of it. Nobody cared who'd won because we didn't win. So, and then when you win a silver and the team don't win, it's a waste of time. And if that doesn't prove what it's about, that competition, and most of the medals that have been won are usually around a good team performance. When you've got the method right, you get all these section wins, and if you get 2 of them, you get a gold medal. Now, some people seem to be really good at winning world championships, but if Stevie Gardner and Dennis White can't become world champion, and Tommy Pickering only wins it once, and the great Kevin Ashurst can only win it once,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Will Raisin, only once.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the greatest anglers ever to walk the planet. So how can you even consider that?
What you're saying is a great team plan and a great team performance breeds individual medals in itself.
Absolutely.
Looking in, and when you say it like that, it is absolutely
yeah, because
correct.
In Portugal, that second day, I've not fished for bleak, but I couldn't have won the section with bleak anyway. And we hadn't got the team method right for bleak. So even if we'd have been winning, we couldn't have won it on bleak because we'd have had to catch carp and barbel, which was the way for me to get a silver medal, which was the right way for the team to do better because we hadn't got the bleak method right anyway. The Italians won it on bleak, but they would do, wouldn't they?
Of course they would. What happened next, Mick? Because I know obviously 2 years ago, 2024, you stepped away from the England feeder setup after a very long and successful career. What made you step away? Because that and how did you make that decision? Because for someone as passionate, as committed, dedicated as you, that can't have come easy.
No. I'll try and make it as quick as possible. I didn't know at the time, but 2017 was the start of the end because Tommy put his hand on Dean's shoulder and said, I won't be bringing you as an angler next year, but I want you to become assistant manager, which I realised after. So in 2018, it was Tommy and Dean. Somewhere in between all that, Tommy left Preston Innovations, and he's a man that wears his heart on his sleeve because he's all in. And he went all in with Preston, and it was the Preston England feeder team because it always was, because they started it, Ricky backed it, got it going, and they backed us all the way, and we brought the silverware home. And for various other reasons, I think he didn't have the same passion. So 2018 was the transition year where Tommy was blooding Dean, and at the end of the match, I think we were third, which is a shame in it that you're like, I think we were third. Yeah, because Russians walked it.
Because a third
it
place,
wasn't there. A third, yeah, it's great.
It's an amazing medal in a international match in this day and age.
Of course it is, but when the passion's not there, because Tommy's going, I want to pull my England shirt on, Preston Innovations, and my heart's not in it, and he was on his way out. I could see that as a person, not as a manager, as a person. And he were, right, Dean, you can step over. And he's like basically gone, you'll do, bang, there you go. Because he's not going to leave it empty, because he's not that guy. But I think if Lollipop Lady would have walked past, he'd have grabbed them and gone, here, you put that jacket on. Because he wanted out and he needed to hang his coat on somebody else in there. So then 2018, that were Italy. And then 2019, we went off to South Africa. And that were Dean's first year, and Lee Kerry had come into the team in the previous year in Italy. Great angler, we travelled together. And Italy, South Africa's a weird one because it's a long way, it's a bit unusual. We didn't get it right. The Bankside team turned into an absolute circus. There were people on radios and causing right mess. And I think I was 7th or 8th in my section. And the old rule of lowest, if you're not doing well, at team I think we're 5th or 6th, and so Dean's gone, I don't want you to fish. I'm like, yep, get that, can't argue with that. I beat the people either side, and we had other anglers team that didn't beat people either side. But he's had to do what he's had to do, and Lee stepped in and he drew the same section as me. And I think he had a bummer as well. He were 8th or 9th. And we finished 4th, I think. And it just didn't feel like, but it was like, well, it's Dean's first year, and he gave me a chance and all the rest of it. And then 19, we went to France and completely got it wrong. And then we were really scratching round and trying to work out what we were doing wrong. And I think then we had COVID, and then we had, where did we go then? We had Serbia, and I think we had Spain as well at the end once. And somewhere in between all that, Dean asked me to be his captain, because he said, I know that you'll be right with me, tell me the truth, and you can be my right man, because if I'm doing something wrong, you'll tell me. Because I think he had a bit of self-doubt, is the truth.
Knowing Dean will have realised the relationship you and Tommy had, and he'd probably be looking for a bit of that back from you, putting you in that position.
I think when we were in Portugal, Dean and I roomed together and travelled to the venue together, and Tommy kept jumping in the van, and he then had a insight into what went off in a relationship that I had with Tommy, because he, I want to say, trusted my opinion, because I was trying to be independent, level-headed, and of course, so I think that's what Dean wanted from me, and I said I would give him my all, and I would have his back, because of course I know that he was probably feeling slightly fragile, and I think he were a job that he'd not had his visions on. He'd not built towards that. It was an incidental situation. Tommy stepped down. Dean would have wanted to carry on fishing, and I think he were kind of unsettled and not quite sure of himself, and I think it must be hard when because he kind of always were having to battle to make the team, and then all of a sudden he's the manager, and he's deep down probably don't think that he's got the respect from the other members of the team, and he were battling with it, and he mixed it up because Steve was captain when he took over, and he kept him as captain, but he felt that were affecting Steve and how they worked together as a dynamic, and I think he felt I were calm enough and composed enough to be able to do that, and that actually didn't work. That was probably the worst thing that could have happened.
Why? What effect did that have?
Because I tried looking back with Tommy, people probably know what to say and what not to say, and they'd use me as a conduit. They go, I don't think that's right about feeding all that bait, and I go, don't think we're right feeding all this bait, Tom. And they go, why? What's up? And I go, we're just not happy as a team, and that worked because you were like a conduit.
Yeah, people were getting the info
because they knew I could deliver it to him, and he wouldn't rip my head off or think that there were anything untoward or power play or any kind of self-motivation, because he knew our straight arrow. So I think Dean wanted the same thing. But of course, in the new regime, because we'd got new people, and that meant that Rob were more or less, because he were now a guy that were going to fish regular, and Lee were new, and so all the dynamic of the team changed, and Will Freeman came in because Phil Ringer went out.
Yeah.
Dean didn't pick him, and he brought Will in his place. So everything shifted, and top and bottom of it was that I tried my best to do that, but that distracted me from my fishing, because as I've spoke about before, I'm all in, so I'm like, I'll be the best captain you've ever had, and that meant that my attention was there, but unfortunately some people can communicate, and some people are great, and a smart guy once said that there's none so deaf, there's them that won't listen, and I felt like I was wasting my breath. And there were a lot of grumblings in the team, that's not, no, I'm not a whistleblower, that's the same in all the teams. I've listened to Tommy, Dennis, Alan, Dick about every international team.
Yeah, every England team.
I think Kim Milson's been on here, and he'll
we're all involved in it, and we've all heard it and seen it, haven't we? It's not
it's no surprise. You get more than one person, two's company, three's a crowd, team of six, egos,
big characters,
massive characters,
high pressure environment,
everybody's best, my idea. There's jostling going off, there's the male testosterone thing going off, everybody wants to be alpha male, he should. And you're paired up in world champs, so there's a 2 and a 2 and a 2, and then is it a 2 and a 4, or is it, because it can never be 2 3s, and you know what I mean?
And I dare say, when all that energy there, what we're talking about, good, bad, ugly, whatever it is channeled in the right way, which is sometimes uncontrollable, that's what leads to success. And when it's channeled in the wrong way, it leads to a negative period.
That's right. And when Tommy put his foot down, everybody just faced that way. And basically I couldn't do it for him, and it distracted me from my fishing, and I didn't enjoy it, and I didn't make the team the first year in captaincy, and I vowed that I wouldn't let that happen again. But me being me, all the chuntering in the background and and I'll be honest with you, it was tiring, because every single day one of the other 5 would be having a moan about him or this or that or the other. And then Dean needs to know, and then Dean will be going, what's happening? And you try and protect him from it all. And that just ground me down. And I'm like, this is rubbish. I'm not doing this. It's rubbish. I'm not enjoying it. I've got a lot to do. A lot of things I want to achieve in my life. I've got the next chapter to get on with. You know, that one's been gone, that one's been and gone. I've done this, done that, been a fitter, been a sales agent. I've had the rattling of 2 medals and loving life, and fishing's great, and I like a social party and I like a party with lads, and, you know, I like to do other things in my life. So I just went, I've had enough. So I just said to Dean, I won't be coming.
How did he take that? How did the team take it? Was it expected?
No, I think Dean were quite shocked, and he kind of said, well, I were going to set you and I were going to change it up a bit, and you would have been fit. I don't want to blow his the professionalism up, but and he said, would you come and help me? As in, and I said, not a chance. I said, I'm nobody's number 2. I'm Mick Vials is number 1. I do things for me or my loved ones or the people that are right with me. I'm right with them, and I wouldn't help you with that shower. I fish with them all, they're great lads, but what a great, fantastic bunch of fishermen. Best anglers on the planet there. Brilliant.
Fair play. Take some doing that, Mick. Stepping away.
You've got to be true to yourself, Matt, haven't you? If you can't be true to yourself, you've no chance of you getting on in this planet.
No, but surely you can look back on those years and, as you keep saying, that chapter and be super proud of it.
Oh, brilliant. Best days of your life. I've got some beautiful medals, some beautiful photographs, some fantastic memories, and I won't swap them for the world, and I would like to thank Tommy for giving me that opportunity.
Awesome. Loved that. Well done, and thank you. How have you been since stepping away from it? How did you feel when, the boys won last year as well?
Yeah, Lithuania, 2025. I don't think I had a lot on that weekend, and I was doing some kit for we were going Super League. We were doing something. And so I had it on, I was watching the Hungarian app, and I was keeping it. And listen, some of them people in that team are some of my closest friends. I've just had Christmas Eve, Christmas Day and Boxing Day at Will Freeman's house. I'm godfather to his daughter, and Lee Kerry is somebody I spent half my life with. The people I know really well. So of course I'm dead interested, I'm keen as mustard. And what I was going to say is that every single day I'm getting updates from them all, because at night time when they go into the bedrooms they text you and this has happened, this is what's happening, this is what's going off. And there's other people at bank who can't wait to tell you what's going off, because they're like, well, you'll want to know, won't you? And so yeah, well, I might as well have been there. I might as well have been there. And on that note, I might as well carried on fishing, because I still get all the earache about the team and the politics, and I still get it anyway.
It's an ongoing thing.
And I had to say to some lads, listen, I'm not there anymore. Get lost. I don't want to hear it. I've got my own problems. I don't need yours. And when they won, I were over at Munfram, because I rang them all before they'd even got the tackle packed up, because I know they get the phones on, and I rang them all one by one to congratulate them and say, that's fantastic, because it's been a drought. There's been a drought of team medals. We've not won since 2015, so it was 10 years. And I mean, how good is it that Rob Button's been hanging around for 14 years waiting to win a gold medal? 14 years it's took him to win a gold medal. We did it in no time.
And he's got a gold medal.
Will's got a gold medal. Lee Kerry's got his first gold medal at international level. I mean, that's a bloke that should have been fishing for the England float team years ago, if the management would have picked him, but they wouldn't pick him for whatever reason, but I'm sure that'll come out in a different podcast. So I was off at Moan for my mate Will, because he'd run for me and supported me and done everything for me. He even looked for my mobile phone in Portugal, but I'll leave that story for another day. And yeah, what a great thing for them, because that's their chapter, that's their now chapter in it. I've got loads, and I've got loads more chapters to go. So, of it, one for them. Well done to them, please. For them.
Tell me the congratulations story that you told me at pub on the night. Yeah. This is brilliant.
Yeah, because we were talking about international fishing and recognition and all that, weren't I? And last summer, this bloke's the results come out for the England feeder team, and we're in at a draw, I think it were at Barnsley, and he went, "Hey, well done in Lithuania." I said, "Cheers." Thanks very much. I thought, well, I might as well take it. And if he's gonna, and do you know something? They go, oh, well done over there. And I'm like, yeah, cheers, yeah. Because they don't look at the photograph, which is a sad state of affairs, really. Because if I asked 9 out of 10 people, if we went to a match tomorrow and said, can you name me the anglers who fished in that team who won, they wouldn't be able to tell you. They'd probably be able to tell you who won't photograph.
But not off the top of their head.
No. And that's a good thing, because there were people who deserve recognition, like Will Freeman, for doing what he did. I forgot to mention that when I won the silver medal, it was a little thing that Rob Wootton were doing. We're putting a piece of worm on his hook and fishing his peg really quietly. That helped me to get my silver medal. He only fished one day, and Will didn't fish at all when we won gold. But they were on the photograph, so they deserve to wear the shirt and be part of the squad, because it's a team effort. It's not an individual knock-up, is it? No man's an island and all that. It's a team effort, and that goes to the people who riddle bait, the people who drive the bus, the whole thing. So let's not forget that.
Your life's so full. In a really good way, you make me feel tired when I'm listening to the cogs and the motion, and you'll probably say the same, Tobes. Like you're so. We've dwelled briefly on a lot of the stuff we've talked about today, and I just want to touch now on what is next. How can there be another chapter? You came away from Preston Innovations. I needed to speak to you about the England feeder team. Retired? Chilling out?
Yeah, retired for it was about half a day, I think. Because of course I finished with that Preston thing, and then I was like, right, get rid of the fishing out of my life, because the international thing, and no, I don't want to be like Wilf, do I?
Don't be like Wilf.
So I've got a massive. I've never had a list, because I've never had that. I want to win World Championships. I don't want to win this. I don't want to do it. I'd like to win Feeder Masters. I'm not going to lie, because I designed the trophy.
You've won Feeder King.
Yeah. That's one off the list. Yeah.
But you've not got a list.
No, you shouldn't have a list, should you? Because I tell you what you're going to get with a list. You're going to get disappointed. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen when we finish this. Oh, it can happen tonight, tomorrow, this weekend. Life's just one great opportunity, isn't it? And the greatest journey starts with the smallest step, and that started at Ravenfield Ponds. And I don't even think I've gone onto the main track yet, and there's loads to do. I'm quite interested in business. I love fishing, so business and fishing are my life. And we've got a nice little family company going, me and my brother, Nufish. We're developing products. We've got some nice stuff coming out in 2026. And more of the same, and I love fishing for Barnsley, and we won the Feeder National last year, which means we go to Croatia on an international event. So I thought I'd dusted all my bait measures stuff, and providing Lee picks me,
you better do.
Hope
you're listening, Lee.
Yeah, mate. Just because you don't put yourself in that environment, don't make any less, does it? That's just one. I think we could become very blinkered into saying that that's a world. It's not just a little bubble. And in the big scheme of things, not whatever anybody does doesn't really matter apart from to them. So it's very important for me to just do what I can, and all I've ever tried to do is be the best that I can be. And that's not always meant that I was world champion or the best angler or winning this league or collecting, because a lot of people have come on here have like reeled off a list of what I've achieved and all that. I tell you what I've achieved. I've had a great life so far, and I think it's only half time. Calm down, it's only half time, and all I've wanted to do was do my best and make my family proud and feel content in my own mind, and also be true to myself, because that's how my grandfather and my father is, the straight as dies, and that's all I want to be. And if I'm turn out to be half the man that they are, that'll do for me.
What a fantastic way of summarising what you've achieved, in that you tried your best, you've done your best, you're happy with what's your best, and you're going to continue to do so. Like, I find that quite, a bit like, personally, work's busy, fishing's busy, life's busy nowadays. And if you go along with that motto, I don't think you can go that far wrong.
No.
I really don't. I really appreciate them words from you. I think a lot of listeners will also. I really do. And also, I know that you touched on Nufish from a mate's point of view, friend's point of view, and an admiration for business and the industry point of view. I think it's fantastic what you're doing, and I'm really enjoying seeing where it's going. I listen to the Mixing Bowl.
Mate,
I watch all your videos.
The Mixing Bowl's brilliant, and anybody who's watching and listening to this needs to go and check it out, because from a podcast perspective, you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
We appreciate that, Toby, coming from you two guys. That means a lot, and we're just doing as best we can do with what we've got.
Well, it's fantastic. I know it will be only a massive success, and I and everyone here appreciates what you do, what you're doing, what you've done, and where it's going to go in the future. So,
thank you.
Yeah, keep it up, mate.
Appreciate that.
I love it. Absolute honour to sit here and have this conversation with you. It really is.
No, it's been great, hasn't it? It's a shame it's could only last 5 hours.
What a conversation. It's a book. Get some AI to translate this into text. And
That's a great idea. We'll stick it on a book.
Get it in an hardback. I always ask some quickfire questions on this podcast.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw them at the bottom of the sheet. Or...
No, I didn't look on purpose.
Oh, great. Can I put them across to you?
Of course you can.
What's your most embarrassing match fishing moment, Mick Vials?
Performing like a man with no arms at the 2011 World Championships. I was embarrassed about that. Rubbish that way.
That's a meaningful one. We normally get one about someone falling in or something on
we
that.
do.
Love that.
No,
That's deep.
I had a great one when I drowned on Trent Mersey Canal with an ASI box around my neck, but that didn't really embarrass me. It
I
just
wasn't
annoyed
sure
me
if the
'cause-
car fire would have made the list either.
No?
Yeah.
No, I mean that. That's that sticks in my craw. That does.
What would you say is your single biggest match-winning edge as an angler?
Composure and patience.
Like it?
Yeah, I don't thrash around much.
No, never seen you flustered. I am.
Try not to be. There's only one thing you get in a rush, Matt, and that's babies.
Don't I know it? Who do you rate as the best angler you've ever fished with, dead or alive?
Can't say Matt, can we, Toby, because he's in here.
No, sorry.
Well, because of the closeness and the time I spent with him, as much as sometimes he drives me crackers, it's Alan Scott on. What an angler.
Yeah.
Unreal.
What an angler.
Unreal.
What's the worst thing about fishing, and how would you fix it? And I dare say that you're in the process of this in one way or another, knowing what you're like.
The lack of sort of, I'm going to say continuity. It's more about the engagement and the collaboration between us all, because all the fishing disciplines are all like separated, and being in the tackle trade, the continuity and the communication lines of communication are very fragmented and broken. Because I think a lot of people like yourself, Guru Podcasts, product, what we're all trying to do, what you try and do with Match Academy and Talent Pathway, and it all seems to fall on stony ground because there's like a cavern between the anglers and the people that are trying to make things happen, and it's almost like there's far too much infighting when ultimately we're all one togetherness, trying to just take each of us as anglers forward to enjoy our lives in fishing. But we seem to spend half our life, and a good example of that is that brands like Guru and Preston and now Nufish, we've got some great products. We're just trying to get them out onto the market for our own self-benefit, but sometimes we actually invent some really nice kit. But yet there's seems to be a bit of a rocky path to get it into the hands of the guy because of people's opinions and obstacles and the commercial aspect, and somebody's got to buy and sell it. And I just don't think that the purpose and the drive and the sentiment of fishing sometimes reaches the shore. It don't land. And for some reason it just gets dissipated and filtered, and that's frustrating for me.
And you'd try and put that right. Is
Yeah,
there a way of doing it?
We're trying as best, aren't we? Media, time on the bank. We've done some coaching days last year. We have done a match where you don't have to pay pulls, the All England Championships. We've tried just to make sure that people know that we're all trying to just go fishing, aren't we? That's all we want to do. That's all we want to do. But we seem to be fighting each other for some reason. I don't mean you and I or brands. I mean just everybody in fishing seems to have got the back turned to each other.
Get rid of that.
No, I'd love that, yeah.
If you only had one day left to go fishing, where would you go and who would you go with?
Wow. It'd be on the tidal Trent, because it's the finest fishing venue on the planet, because your day's never over. And can I take two? I can take two people.
I'll let you take whoever you want.
My dad and my granddad. Yeah. Sorry.
Love it. Brilliant. Back to that first photo. Here's one I'm interested to hear your answer on. If fishing didn't exist, what would you do?
Yeah. I'd probably go golfing because that's quite social, isn't it? Even though it's a long walk wasted. It would be something to do with people and being around people, social aspect, I would say. I love outdoors. I love lots of different things. I love going to a pub and having a chat with people. I just like being around people. So it'd be something that just involved lots and lots of people, really. Yeah, it would, yeah.
Love it. Did you bring us a gift?
I brought two because I didn't think that...
Of course you did.
I didn't think that one would be enough, really. Now, the Gentenhausen Canal was the first time that drug testing had been brought into fishing.
Big canal, gold medal for England, bronze medal individual for you.
Yeah, and long story short, they basically warned us all that there'd be drug testing, so we had to make sure that nobody were on tablets and stuff like that, which I don't take tablets. I'm ugly enough. Just keep taking the ugly pills, as Mark Price would say. And so they basically chose two teams, and then from each team, they chose an angler. And of course it were me, weren't it? Of course it were. And the other one, Mate Sivac, who happens to be a really good friend of mine, because we've beat each other in various situations. We've even tied for a section winning an international event. And he would drug test and I would drug test, but I went first. And they put me in a car, drove me 2 villages, this beautiful young lady from the Dutch Federation. And I went in to see this doctor, and in this little room, and he was a doctor, and he said, right, you need to do a drug test, fill all this form out. And it were one of those, have you seen the film where they do the cycling, the famous cyclist, and it tells you all about the bottles and how they fixed them?
Yeah.
And they've got a once only...
Sealed.
It were that.
Yeah.
It were that.
Wow.
It was serious. And he's gone, you need to pee in this bottle. Is that a problem? I said, it's not a problem. I said, I can pee for England. And he said, well, that's good, because that's what you're supposed to be doing. And so I've gone, is it here? And he's gone, there's a toilet there. So I've gone in, he's gone, I need to come in with you. I said, it's not a problem. He said, are you sure? I said, peed in front of bigger blokes than you, especially when I was in prison. and he, so he stood there, and I felt about it. He went, brilliant. I said, well, it's not hard, is it? Here that goes. Nice warm bottle of pee like. And so, of course, that was me, and I'm chatting to him. So I said, so do you do this all the time? Is this what you do for a living? Well, no, I'm a GP and all that. And so have you done this before in sport? He went, yeah, actually. He said, I worked at the 2012 Olympics. I said, bloody hell. And he said, in fact, the last person I drug tested, because it was the last race, the last event of the 2012, because I ain't done an event since then, was the 100-metre men's sprint. He said, the last bloke I tested was Usain Bolt.
Get away.
No way.
Get away.
That's what he said. And I went, oh. I said, did he ask after me? He said, no. I said, well, just let him know if you see him again, I can pee faster than he can run. And he went, you're not kidding. So they gave me a bottle and a sweatband, which is 100% dope free, which some people would disagree with because I'm a bit of a dope. And that's the water bowl that they gave me. And then...
Look, and you're happy to leave that with us?
Yes, because I've got...
Look at that.
I've got two,
that toad.
I've got two medals from then and some beautiful photographs because my granddad was there. Amazing. And all my family were there, and my brand new niece and my brother came. Everybody went. Only my sister missing when we won the second medal, so it was great. And my granddad said last time he saw this canal, it were in 1945, in the war, which were a great story. But we'll tell that later. And then I brought this as well because I've got some more mementos of this. This is a tie, and I thought this gift should be special for the podcast because it's a serious invite to get this. And this is an Embassy Challenge tie that you only get when you go to the final. And I got that in 1995 when I qualified with my mentor, influencer and special person, Roy Truman. I think I gave Toba a picture of Roy. There he is. That bloke did a lot for me.
Look at that.
And when he passed away, his son Martin, we got medals. You get medals when you qualify. Beautiful gold medals in boxes. And when his dad passed away, Martin gave me the medal. So I've got the pair of medals.
Wow.
From that. And you got a tie. And I don't know what happened to Roy's tie because it's probably gone. So I'm putting that here to rest because Roy's not with us anymore. And but I've got what I need. I've got pictures of me and Roy. I've got memories of me and Roy. And I've got medals. So I just wanted to bring that here as a tribute to Roy Truman.
Absolutely. Incredible, mate. What an amazing... Are you happy to leave it with us?
I am, yeah. Yeah.
What an amazing gift with an incredible story. Thank you very much for that.
Great, isn't it?
Yeah, that's for Roy. Phenomenal. Mick, that's been a pleasure. I knew it were going to be. We will do stuff like this together in the future.
Oh, so yeah.
I can guarantee that we definitely will. Thank you for a magnificent conversation.
Yeah, thank you, mate.
Feel very lucky to call you a close friend, and you know how much respect I've got for you, not just in fishing, in business, as a friend.
The feeling's mutual.
Thank you.